Grace and peace, grand rising. Woo-hoo. It's midweek check-in. Let's hit up the live on Instagram. Let Instagram know that we are over here. I don't know. We're jamming out to some Afro beats. Hopefully we can get away with it. So grace and peace to Instagram, grand rising. Everybody, is midweek check-in. Let me turn this down a little bit because it is probably a little loud. Moon magic today. So we had a strawberry moon yesterday. I believe, what was it, the 14th, depending on where you are positioned in the world. It was a strawberry moon. And why is that called the strawberry moon? It's because during harvest season, the strawberries would bloom around that time. And that's henceforth why it's called a blood moon. A strawberry moon. It's also a full moon, and it's in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the fire signs. It's one of the fire signs. It is a fixed sign. So they're kind of stubborn when it comes to certain things, making moves. They beat to their own. They move to their own drum beat sound machine, if that makes sense. And also we have a couple of other planetary alignments right now. We have Pluto in retrograde, which is going to stay here for at least another year and a half. Well, another half a year, rather. We also have Mercury back in Gemini right now. It's not a retrograde, it's direct. So, any problems with communications, there shouldn't be. We have North Node in Taurus right now. What is this Burger King business? So we have North Node in Taurus right now, South Node in Taurus, in Scorpio, rather. So that's playing out on a larger scale where, Taurus is kind of the stubborn one out of the group. They are the bulls, so they can be hot-headed, temperamental, right? Scorpio is the sign of death and regeneration and transformation. So on a larger scale, on a macro level, we see a lot of things playing out right now in regards to killings, mass shootings, a lot of feminine and masculine men and females kind of battling it out, if you will. And what else? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of other alignments that are happening, but they're big retrogrades. So I believe Saturn's in retrograde right now, Jupiter's in retrograde, and Pluto's in retrograde. So Mercury's going to take his little funky self into retrograde, I believe, next month. That's the one planet that kind of goes into retrograde pretty often. So with that, with all those planetary alignments being said, today is just the midweek check-in. We're going to be seeing what's the temperature looking like in regards to your health. What is it looking like for your finances? What is it looking like in regards to romance? Remember, it's a general reading, so this can or cannot apply to you however you see fit to put it into your narrative. But remember that if it doesn't fit into your narrative, please don't try to make it squeeze in. It may sound like it makes sense for you, and there may be some things that do click. But if it's not your message, it's just not your message, right? And also know that we have masculine and feminine energy within us both. So, for females, that could just mean you're a little more boisterous, outspoken. You could have been a tomboy, growing up, right? So you're kind of this no-nonsense type of woman. And that just means your masculine is kind of more dominant in your energy than your feminine. And for men, your feminine energy could look like being a little, understanding, compassionate, sweet, right? Um, it's not being simped, it's not being soft, it's not being bussified. It just means that you have a softer, a more understanding side to you, right? We're not taking away anything from our men. So with that all being said, knowing that this is a midweek, not a mindful, I was going to say a mindful Monday. It's a midweek check-in. We're just going to see how the temperature is looking in regards to, your health, your finances. The past couple of readings in regards to health, there's been some type of health issues, some gastric issues going on. So we want to see if that's been resolved or taken care of. There's also been some heavy consumption in regards to alcohol. So we're going to check to see how that plays out today. Also in the romance department, it gets a little funky. It gets a little weird. And we're going to check out what it's looking like because, there's some couples that don't want to go on vacation. Some are in Splitsville. Some are just like, let's do this. And others are like, you know what? We have the family. We don't have enough money. We got to see how this is all playing out. Now, I also have my book with me here, Moon Magic. And, if anybody works with the moon, if for those who are just checking in with me now, if this may be your first time, I am an intuitive reader, but I work along with angels. Those are my people. So angel guides, master archangels, master angels. Those are who I work with. And besides God, and some deceased loved ones, but intuitively speaking, my messages come from the divinely guided by the angels for me. But I also like to work with the moon, the full moon. If you know what, when you were born and if there was a full moon or if there was a new moon or there was a quarter moon, it's best to use that energy as well. New moons are all about new beginnings, right? As we know. But full moons are just as great because they're releasing the things that no longer, resonate or reside with us anymore. Eli's in the building. Salute. Grand rising. So we're, getting rid of the people or the places or the things that just are not cohesive with us anymore. So a full moon can do that. A full moon can also have us looking a little wonky, acting up, some aggression, some misunderstandings, because it's an emotional, it's not an emotional sign because it's in the sign of Sagittarius, but anytime there's a full moon, dollars to donuts, people are going to be acting out. If you're a Cancer, this is going to affect you as well because Cancers are ruled by the moon. And so therefore, they could be kind of emotional at this time, a little moody, crabby, whatever name you have for a little Cancer, shell baby. And that's what it is. Now, I'm going to quickly just read what the full moon is, right? It's also a super moon. So that just means that it's a little more larger than a usual full moon. We had a full moon in the last full moon we had it in Taurus, and it was a blood moon. It also was a lunar eclipse. So we still have a lot of this energy that's around, and eclipses, their energy stays with us for about a good 6 months. Lunar has to do with things that are hidden, right? And solar eclipses have to do with shining and letting us see things for what it is. Lunar takes a little more time for it to be illuminated and to show us the things that, are not the best for us or could be the best, things hidden in plain sight, right? So really quickly, I'm just going to go into what a full moon is. We're jamming out here to some Afro-Caribbean beats. It's one of the people I listen to as the Orisha playlist. So hopefully we don't get slams with that. But anyway, full moons are not considered a good time to have surgeries or any medical procedures. And some people claim that blood reacts to the gravitational pull of the moon. Disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, nor am I a lawyer. So if you're having any serious and pertinent, alarming health issues, please seek a medical professional, okay? Also, you can feel some of the effects of a full moon 3 days before and 3 days after. So the 14th was the actual, or Tuesday evening is when we could have seen the full moon. We're still going to see it at its highest. It's also a super moon, so that means it's going to be really big. And also, we're in another 666 day today. Yay! So for those who were here last Monday when I did the power of 666, okay. Ooh, Divine's in the building. Grand Rising. Hello, my dear. So, and it's 11:11. I got 11 people watching. It's 11 minutes and 11 seconds on YouTube. So I'm also on YouTube if you want to come over, because after a while I'm going to shut off Instagram. I may need to use it to look up something, but I'm on YouTube right now, and it's Foxy Moon Premieres. So that's FOXXMOON. And Premieres is PRMIRE apostrophe S. Yes, I know I spelled it wrong. But once you get to know me, you know I say certain words wrong. YouTube knows what it is. So full moon and moon magic, if you subscribe to that, it's definitely good if you are, in the midst of doing some kind of banishing, releasing people, or just wanting a new lease in life. Like I said, the new moons are just as good as a full moon in that respect, where, it's a time to start over, releasing, things, people, places that just are not resonating anymore with you. And it's time to let that go. Right. So I like this book. I use it. I use it quite a bit. As you can see, I got it like earmarked here. But I didn't really do any magic, witchy stuff yesterday. I kind of just admired the moon and said, some affirmations and some intentions, some downright prayers, because we're in a world full of stuff going on, and we need to have some healing right now. And when you're doing these type of rituals, you can have incense, Palo Santo, sage, all right, water. You want to have that near you. You can have a candle, and depending on what type of ritual you want, or whatever type of ritual that you're doing, is the color of the candle that you will get. Okay. So I'm not gonna stay too long into moon magic, but just know that, because of the full moon, this is what you can do. Also, there's different stones that correlate with the full moon. All right. So a rose quartz is good for that healing, for that love. All right. The moonstone. Where's my moonstone? You get your rainbow moonstone. That's for intuition. My brother Pinero's in the building. Salute, salute. So, that also helps with intuition. Lapis lazuli, another one with intuition, and turquoise. So, do your research. If you guys can get this book, it's worth it. If you can't, that's why the beauty of social media right now and the internet is you can go online and look up, different things to do for moon magic. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on the book. I just wanted to let us know that it is a full moon. That energy is still very much prevalent right now. And if you're wanting to, do some things, release some people, my Lotus is in the building. Whatever it is, spring cleaning in the house and stuff. This is the greatest time to do it. because we are still in that full moon. Also, again, we're in that eclipse, that lunar eclipse. So that energy is still around. Just because it went away and no one's really talking about it doesn't mean that that energy is not here. Again, we are on the second 666, if you will. Like I said, last Monday, I had a breakdown of what the number 666 is, and it's not about spookyism, and it's not about demonic devils and all this other nonsense that's running around. It's really us. We're made of stardust, right? But there are people who do use that number for nefarious acts and for nefarious reasons. So we need to be very clear that there are people who do use it for not the greater good. And so today there's that ending of that portal of the first 6-6, and then today is the next 6-6, and that kind of seals in whatever entity's energy was being released and expelled. The door, sort of say, is closing now. So we have a lot of high vibrational numbers, a lot of high vibrational celestial events happening. So we need to be mindful about our words. They cast spells. Our thoughts, they can be dangerous. And if a trained mind doesn't realize this, their intentions can set off a whirlwind of disaster. So excuse me, guys, still coming off of my illness. I would say I'm about 96% better. But the throat chakra, the more you talk, the throat chakra starts acting up. Right, so a little sippy. And we're going to get into the reading. So we're going to start off with your health. Right, again, remember that this is just a general reading. It's not specifically for you, but there may be some things that might resonate. If you do want a personal reading, in the pin there on YouTube, you can go to the website and book a personal reading with me. Shout out to Miss Sharon. I just saw her message. And so we're going to have a reading on Saturday. So if anybody's still interested in that, they can have a personal reading. If you would like to have a small mini reading at the ends of this session, just let my moderator extraordinaire Lotus know, and you can get a quick little mini reading. All right. So with that being said, let's kick in. I'm going to do health, and then I'm going to shut down Instagram. And we're going to just check the vibe and see what's going on, what's doing with our health. All right. And next month we'll do the all signs again. So we're still in the Gemini season right now. So, there could be some spiciness going back and forth with communication. Gemini, Mercury is back in Gemini right now. It's not retrograde, but Gemini, that's its natural planet. So, some people, again, like I said, some people are going to be told a few things about themselves. Some people might be itching to talk to somebody that they haven't spoken to in a while, that they want to speak to. There could be some apologies coming through. It's up to you on how you want to receive this energy. If not, you don't have to subscribe to it. It's just that simple. All right. So let's go ahead and I am using the angel, my angel tarot. Again, for those who are new to the channel, I work intuitively with angels, angel guides, archangels, master angels, and of course, the Most High. But my messages are coming. They're the liaison between everybody else and all the higher ups. So I work with angels. So some of my tarot decks are angel based. So this is for health. All right, so let's get health in for the collective. Okay, so we got the Page of Swords here. And I will be clarifying with this other fancy schmancy French. I don't know the name. I forgot the name of it, but it's got like this kind of drawing on there. Chiro, Marcella, something like that. Get me to start pronouncing. So we got the Page of Swords here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So as I was discussing a little while ago, that there's some people in the collective that are having or they could have had some type of surgery in regards to gastric bypass or some type of gastric issues. So that seems to be subsiding, but I'm also getting that there could be small polyps. So somebody could be feeling sharp pain in their uterus or in their stomach. All right. Again, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. So this is clearly just intervention or messages divinely guided. It's not, if you feel that this is something serious, please take the advice of going to see, a doctor. Also, swords have to do with mental as well. They have to do with truth, speaking. I said Mercury back in Gemini right now. So this is Gemini energy coming through. But some people feel very happy about the way, because we've had some turbulent kind of time frames the past couple of weeks, past couple of months. And some people are actually feeling better. You might have had to tell the job, shove it and go. All right. Because, you've probably been there, excuse me, for 8 years or longer than you should have. And you're feeling like this is not working itself out. So your mental health, right? As we know, our mental health has to take precedence over our physical. Because sure, our physical, it's mind over matter. So if we will it, it will happen. But if we're not feeling well, but our mind is moving a mile a minute, we have to get it connected. So once we have it connected, this is somebody looking good, feeling good, standing in their truth, letting somebody know, listen, you know what? I can't take this job anymore. I'm giving you my 2-week notice. And that's that. This could also be a child letting, if they've had some issues with speaking up for themselves or, explaining certain situations about what's happening in school. They're starting to open up and feel better about letting somebody know how they really feel. All right. It says here, insight, blunt, an exciting intellectual challenge, brilliant insights, information that you need but might be challenging to receive. Review all your documents carefully. That's that Mercury retrograde. But we're not in Mercury retrograde right now. So, nothing should be, eye-raising where it's like, oh, do I got to go all over, go over this again and again? No. But whatever you did during the Mercury retrograde, whether it was a positive or a negative thing, you are now going to see the effects of it. So I don't want to make it sound negative, and it's you reap what you sow. But whatever was going on during Mercury retrograde and however you handle it, now it's the outcome of what you were doing and how you were doing it. Okay. All right. So that was a snippet. I'm going to log off on Instagram, and you guys are more than welcome to come on to Foxy Moon Premier's channel. Generally live on Wednesdays and sometimes on Mondays for Mindful Monday. I like to, stay to the script, providing nothing goes wrong my way. All right. So with that being said, catch you on the flip side. Peace. Okay. So we will convene here. So let's clarify now, why is this page? And we're jamming out to some mix. It's the guy that I usually listen to my Orishas, and he's got another mix. So hopefully they don't try to copyright me. So what's going on here with this page? This could be a junior in either a junior in middle school or a junior in high school who's over they're overcoming an accomplishment in regards to speaking out. They might have had, if this is definitely a middle school, or either this is like their first year, so they're kind of adjusting to the way things are. And if it's a junior, they also come through the other side of the tunnel, because they're no longer that freshman, sophomore, and realizing now, come the next school semester, they're going to be a senior. So, there's this feeling good mentally about themselves, and just the way things are shaping up for them. Okay. So let's see what else is here for health. Yeah, so this could definitely be more geared towards a child. So if you're a parent, this message is more so towards a child, but not necessarily if you are a child at heart, or if you have a youthful personality. This could, be directed towards you as well. We got Magician in the middle of the deck, and bottom of the deck is the Chariot card here, Cancer energy. All right. So, so this is fire energy with this wands here, Sagittarius. We just had this full moon in Sagittarius. I'm getting that if this is a junior in high school, they might not have gotten picked for the school that they wanted to attend. All right. But I'm getting that they're okay with it. They might be a little bummed out, but they are all right with it. There's no real worry about a depression, or is my child going to, really get super bummed out about it? Are they going to, get into a dark place? I'm getting that they kind of, they're accepting the fact that they didn't get into the school of choice. Okay. They're maturing right now, even though this is we got 2 pages here. I'm getting that, either this is a very mature middle schooler or a very mature high schooler. So if they're like 10th grade, 11th grade, they're very mature for their age. Their mentality could be that of like an 18-year-old. So whatever obstacles that are thrown their way with this 8 of Pentacles in reverse, they're taking the bull by the horn, sort of say. They could be a Taurus. All right. Well, we have here fire and air signs. So Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. All right. So if you have a child that's that age, that is in that age group or that sign, then this is more basically your message. But if that's not the case, this is just the person who, as I just said, could be very youthful at heart. And they're not letting a lot of things stress them out right now. They're taking this kind of youthful approach to certain things, and like letting things roll off their back, saying what they need to say. If they have to tell the job, listen, 2 weeks notice, I'm out. It might have worried them in the past. Yeah, we got the Four of Pentacles right here. They would have worried about this money, but I'm getting, because there's like this, this energy with this full moon here. It's kind of just like, all right, it is what it is. Let the chips fall where they may. That's what I'm getting. And also, if there is some type of digestive system, I'm not seeing too much of a big problem right now. I get that this is being taken care of and under control. All right. But there's still this very much so indigestion, heartburn. Could be polyps. All right. They're small in size, but if we're not watching it, it can definitely grow and fester. So we want to be mindful about the certain foods. If we're eating more spicy foods, that's not agreeable with us, we need to, definitely be mindful about that. All right. So let's move into your finances now. This sounds good. I hope I don't get to. We need some music. I was listening to the meditation music earlier, and I was just like, I mean, it's great while I'm centering myself, but you know what? I like to party. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like to party. We like to party. What was I using that one to clarify? All right, oh yeah, that's what it was. I'm using another deck. See, I get a little beside myself sometimes. Okay, so we're using for finances, we're going to be using the Sun and Moon Tarot deck. And what was I using to clarify? Okay, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and see what's going on in the finance department. Okay. All right, so we got 2 cards. We'll take them. 4 of Cups. What do we have here? The 2 of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. So we got the Page of Swords again. And this time it's in reverse. We got the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Bottom of the deck is the 4 of Cups. All right. So if you had to leave this job for whatever reason, I'm going to clarify a little bit. But, you know, somebody just says, listen, I've either been, you know, I've been here for 4 years. I don't see myself being here for another 4 years. Or they've been at their job for 8 years. You know, there's this opportunity. Remember, I just said we're in this full moon. So this full moon is going to have us with the opportunity of making some changes, letting go of persons, places, or things, jobs that just either it's not doing, you know, justice for your soul, or the pay is not enough, right? Like, you could be the one that's being there overnight and overworked and just not getting compensated for that. You know, with this 4 of Cups here, it's almost like there's no love lost. You're kind of just letting things fall where they may. All right, let's clarify a little bit more. Why is this Page of Pentacles here? Also, this could be a young, okay, so if it's not, this is, I'm getting like any child from the age of like 10 to 18 is what I'm getting. Either they're kind of overcoming some obstacles that were happening in school, or they're not getting accepted to either the job that they wanted or a school that they wanted to get into. So that's what I'm getting as well. That, you know, this could be a young adult that, you know, trying to maybe go back to college or applying for like their ideal dream job. Maybe they're looking into their career now, but it's not working out at this moment for this child or young adult, or an older adult who, you know, is just, they're kind of coasting right now. They're going with, you know, they're going with the flow of things. They're not letting any person, situation affect them. Definitely masculine and feminine energy here. So somebody is definitely balanced out. We talked about masculine and feminine energy at the beginning of the live. So someone's definitely rocking with their masculine and their feminine. They know when to you know, put their foot down, and they know, you know, to say enough is enough, and keep it moving without getting emotional. It's more logic. It's, you know, mind over heart at this moment. So, you know, somebody's really like, I'm not letting this get to me as they would normally do. All right. So kudos for you. All right. That's change here as well as what I'm seeing with this 2 of Pentacles. That's change in reverse. So, you know, keep, if you got loose change around, hold on to it for, you know, because you could take this. I'm getting that somebody may have some loose change laying around, and just, you have so much and you don't realize it. You go and cash it in. You might have a few, you know, little dollars, ducats to play around with. You know, you might be in a crunch and you're like, let me just go see how much this money is. And then boom, you got like, you know, $20 or something like that. Like, you can go get gas, you know what I mean? Like that kind of loose change. Nothing big, nothing, you know, crazy. All right, so why is this page? Why are the page and the 2 of Pentacles? Eight of Cups and the Page of Cups. A lot of childlike energy. A lot of childlike energy. Okay, so the bottom of the deck is the Six of Wands in reverse. And to clarify, why is this page and the Two of Pentacles here is the Eight of Cups in reverse. So somebody's really just not emotionally hung up. It's, you did what you needed to do. You said what you needed to say. You're moving forward. If this is if this is like a middle schooler, they might be more bummed out than the high school child is. But they're handling a lot better than someone would have thought they, would have handled it. It's like this, they're getting mature. They're coming into their maturity. They're coming into their age. And so, with this Eight of Wands, it's like, okay, we'll have another shot at it. Bottom underneath the wands here is the World's card. So there will be another opportunity to apply for this job or apply for this school. It could be that if this is a middle schooler who's trying to apply for a high school, you still got like 8th grade. You don't have to worry if you get like some type of rejection. Same thing if you are a junior in high school. So you'll be able to reapply. You just, at the moment, we're not accepted, or you've been waiting and you feel like you're not accepted. Just wait a little longer. It's coming through. But if you don't get accepted, there's going to be a chance for you to reapply either for a job or for school. Okay. But there's definitely this maturity that's here. So even if this is an older adult, because they're older, they have that maturity already, but they also have this kind of youthful, they don't let a lot of things worry them. So they don't look like they're their age. They may not act like they're their age sometimes. But in this particular situation, they're just not letting people, a job, denial get them down so much. All right. Okay. So let's move on to romance, because that's where we get all stuck up at. Romance is the stick up kid. Okay. So that's finance, health, finance. All right. And I'm going to be using a couple of decks for the romance. And I'm also going to be using for our it's not going to be a wisdom oracle, but it is a wisdom, but it's a newer deck called Divine Beloved. So this is going to be for the end of our reading. Ooh, my beauty queens in the building. Yay. Salute to the reasoning. I guess we're sleeping. We're like Rich Mo. Where's everybody at? Because I'm tired, y'all. I was up, Raz Girl, I was with your boy JVJ last night and no jive. I'm tired. We were on it for like 5 hours. 5 hours. Talking about Shahrazad Ali, talking about Kevin Samuels. And then it got heated with Alexis. My brother Zay is in the building. Peace, salute. Rosnett is in the building. Grand Rising, good morning. All right, okay. We're starting to wake the crust up out of our eyeballs. It's 10:34 over here where I'm at. It's Eastern Standard Time, so I know some of us are a couple of hours behind. So I'm not going to come too hard on you, but listen, class is in session. Let me ring this bell. Class is in session. Let's get it on. All right. So we're almost finished this reading. I'm up to romance now, and that's perfect. I think we were talking about romance the last time. Shell, you're right on time. All right. So like I said, I'm going to be using a few decks in regards to romance. One is our Old Faithful, the Angel Romance. Then I have this little oracle, Island Wellness Love Oracle. Excuse me. And then the last deck or last oracle is Soul Connections When Two Hearts Meet. So we're going to be using a couple of decks. If it gets a little too much, I may have to clarify and get a little more deeper in. I really don't want to, but you know, romance gets messy. If you've been here long enough, you know romance gets downright dirty in your business. All right, so we're jamming out here. I think we're on this song. Where are my glasses? All right, hold on a second, guys. We're in a full moon right now, and I'm loving it. I like full moons, even though that's why I'm so tired. Full moons get me so tired. Or they do the opposite. I'm hyped up. New moons, I'm like, you can't wake me up. I'm so drained with a new moon. Let's see here. All right. I mean, hopefully they don't. I'm trying to be easy and go with the people I don't think I get copyright strikes. So annoying. All right. Let's put his Arisha mix on just to be on the safe side. Okay. Hold on. So we're going to get into romance. You know, we got to set the tone because romance, if you ever courted a woman or ladies, a true gentleman courts a woman and they know how to do it. They do the romance. They do the, don't let anybody tell you chivalry is dead. All right. Gentlemen still, and that's a gentleman because we're talking about gentlemen and ladies. A lady. You know, don't I got the door, I can grab it myself, I got it. Listen, if you're in front of him, okay, you should be in front of him anyway. If you're going like to open a door into a building or something like that. You know, sometimes the car is a hit or miss because, you know, we got to walk all the way around every time we get out. You know, there's exceptions. But when we're talking about chivalry, let a gentleman be a gentleman and do certain things for a lady. We gotta bring these type of morals back. Like this, we're missing this. I don't want to come out preachy today. That wasn't my intention. It's the midweek check-in. But we got to check in. You know what I'm saying? Well, you didn't miss, you just missed health and finances. Raz girl, but, last night? Yeah, last night was funny. I wish you were there. I kind of caught him like on a whim because he was already like an hour in. And he had Shahrazad Ali video, and I was like, oh, and he's like, come on now, Foxy. And I was like, I wasn't ready. So yeah, let's get chivalry back. And FYI, I'm eating some pineapples. You know, if y'all know me long enough, y'all always see me eating some. I have to. I don't really have breakfast in the morning. I don't eat a big breakfast at that. And when I'm doing these readings, I get nervous, so I don't eat too much because I'm nervous. So forgive me if I'm chomping. That's rude, and we need to have etiquette, right? But allow this man, a man, to open the door, even if it's a stranger and it's not your man. All right. And it's not that he's trying to pick you up, because not every man is trying to do that. So we need to get that out of our head. We had this conversation yesterday with JBJ. But let it happen. When I'm walking in the street, my husband walks on the outside of me every time. Now it's just subconscious, like he does it. But if I'm walking with my son, I have to remind him, and I say, you know, Dad says this is what you're supposed to do. Why are you supposed to do that? Because there's this notion that if a woman is walking out on the outside of the street or of the block, she's being prostituted. She's being pimped out. So out of respect, men should let their women walk closer to the inside of the block and they walk. Even if you cross the street and my husband does it so unconsciously. And I used to, because I showed him, I told him that because I grew up with gentlemen in my household. So, and Puerto Ricans, Caribbeans, they're very big on like etiquette. So, he does it unconsciously now. So even if we're crossing the street and the building is like this way, he'll walk either behind me or in front of me just so that he's on my left side to where the cars are. So that's, chivalry, or if you're going to a restaurant, guys, pick up your speed so that you can go and pull the chair out and let her sit down. Like, I know sometimes some women, we're fast. We like to move fast, sit down because we're hungry. But, test them. If this is kind of like a new person that you're dealing with right now, see how their mama and their papa raised them. Test them. Walk a little slowly and see if he's going to pull the chair out for you. That's the least that he can do. And some of us women, we need to stop acting like, my little diesel arms, stop acting so tough. We had this conversation last night. I had it with another platform about, women, some of us, we need to be a little more feminine. We can't really glorify the old, single mother, and she's doing the damn thing and putting her up there. She's doing a great job. Let's not take that away from her. But we're making it so that we're Xing out our men. So the gripe kind of is that men are not being heard. The likes of a Kay Samuels brought this sunshine out for men to, some men. Because I'm like, what man? Because somebody House of Has was saying yesterday, Rascal, the men are not being heard. I'm like, what man are you walking around that is not being able to voice what they need to say? Because the men I know, and from a very young age, they spoke their mind. They knew who, they talked about everything under the sun, politics, sex, sports, you name it. They were outspoken about it, and in front of children and in front of women. There wasn't this, but what he was saying is, y'all let me got my makeup looking crazy out here. What this young man House was saying is that this generation, because of this whole emasculating, trying to make the man like this simp and this pussy, that it's created a problem. But it goes back to mothers and their boys when they have a son. Like, we can only baby them up to a certain, right? This is still kind of like Mindful Monday. This is part 2 of 666, because today's the 6th day. 15 breaking down to 6. Still June 6th is the 6th month. And we break down 20, 22 comes down to 6. So this is part 2 of my 666 talk last Monday. Even though I like to marinate romance. So I'm gonna get to romance in a minute. But that's what you do, right? When you're whining and dining and you shooting your shot, you gotta let stuff marinate. You can't just say everything that you want to say. You gotta let it breathe, like fine wine. You gotta let it breathe. Everything that we do in life is a courting. It's what you would do in a relationship. If you're growing a garden, well, it's almost like growing people, right? Grooming them, rather. Even down to the water. Plants need to have water. We need to have water. We need to talk. We talk to our plants like, oh, come on, baby, grow, just grow, and da-da-da-da. Well, we talk to our children that way. Be a good boy. Come on, be a good girl for mommy. Right? So it's not that far removed of how we talk to people and how we talk to things and animals. And if you're a sensitive person or an empath, you're really, in tune with animals and that life, plant life. But, going back into the courting and talking about this romance, we're losing sight of that. We're losing the letting a man be a man. And some women are happy to see a man be a woman. It's insanity. And yeah, I know we're in Pride Month, and I know that these people celebrate this stuff. Certain people celebrate that. I'm not going to bash, but things have been taken away from the melanated man. And y'all know I'm going to always go there because that's, as I said on somebody's platform yesterday, that's me first and foremost. I came out of a black womb. I don't know any better. That's what I know. That's what I know. So if it sounds a certain kind of way to some people, well, what can I tell you? That's where my passion is. It's always that. So I'm always going to be like this. Unfortunately. So Lotus says some men are making it hard for themselves to be heard by the way they treat their women. Because it's this almost a double standard. But what some of us women have to realize, and this was talking about Sister Scheherazade Ali's book, and her coming from the tutelage of the prophet Elijah Muhammad, and how to live and how to eat, but also how to conduct yourself as the black man. And I'm not sure if he had one for the black woman, but he's talking about, listen, who better to tell another melanated person the ropes, right? As far as the innate stuff. If an Asian or a Korean person wrote a book on, self-cleansing, we might skim through certain things, right? But their pheromones are not like our pheromones. They don't smell like us and we don't smell like them. And I'm not being funny and I'm not being facetious. This is scientific realness. This is science here. We get caught up in our feelings. Like I was talking about this yesterday. I'm like, most melanated, the most of us get in our feelings. We get a little emotional. Some will call it emotion. Some will say passionate. Some might say angry. Not realizing it's all coming from a place of love. But if a melanated man wrote a book about cleanliness and hygiene and their diet, and it's me personally, I would pick that book up and read it first. Does that sound like that's discrimination? It may look like that to somebody, but as I just said again, our body mechanisms, our DNA, our chemistry is slightly different from any other nationality and ethnic groups. We may have some similarities, but when I'm coming to our pheromones and our hormones, historically, Black women have more fibroid issues than a European white woman does. Fair use. Because now I don't want to get quoted on Miss Medical, so I want to be careful when we talk about health and certain, we need to have it in black and white and written. But what I'm saying is that is an example of what I would do if I'm wanting to know about cleanliness, or medical, mental health, right? Because I bought all different types of books, and they were written by a Caucasian women. I got Joel Osteen, read his religious books. And like I said, some of it resonated with me. But reading, and I only read like one book. Yvonne Sant, whatever her name is, Oprah's homegirl. It's soulful, so it resonates a little bit more deeper than somebody else of another culture or nationality or ethnicity. Jay Savage is in the building. Salute. And Kim Murray's in the building. The GOAT is in. So, again, like I said, I don't want to, I need to be careful when I'm talking medically speaking, because I am not a medical professional, and I do not want my page taken down, because I need to be up here talking to us. But if we do our due diligence and we do our research, we will find that historically, certain groups of people, their DNA is just slightly different. Their genetic makeup is different from a Puerto Rican or an Nigerian. It's just subtle stuff, but it's still enough to make distinctions. And if there is a medical crisis, if you know your blood type, like I'm O positive, that's the universal blood. I'm the universal donator. I could probably get, but a person who is an RH or an A positive, their blood type is a little harder and rare to get, and they would be more in a crisis, because you got to go through all this filtering out the blood types and the blood groups that go with this person who might be going through a crisis, as opposed to somebody who's a universal donor and can give to everybody. The only people I don't think O positive, and I don't know, I don't want to be quoted, I think O positive can't receive, I think they can't receive from O negative, but let's just check this out real quick before I start, I'm quoting science here. We need to get this on record. So that's one thing. The second thing, as I just mentioned before, is chivalry. Let a man, yes, women, there are some men out here that are just really rude and they have no etiquette. They didn't grow up, it seems like they didn't grow up in a house. They grew up in a barn. They're stinky. They're, the cleanliness, you could tell looking under those fingernails. Yeah, if he came home from work, okay, he should be going straight to the bathroom anyway and washing his hands first and foremost. Because that's how I was raised. As soon as you come in the house, even sometimes before you give the person a kiss, you go straight to the bathroom and you wash your hands. Because what are you doing? As soon as you walk in your house, you start touching everything. And I'm talking about since I was a little girl. I'm not talking about just in the past couple of years. So washing our hands is like, who's not washing their hands? But I know who's not washing their hands, and I've seen it. I'm like, You don't wipe your cooter and you didn't wash your hands after that in a public setting. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay, y'all. So my makeup is running, and I don't want to look like Bobo the clown. So the genetic makeup. Exactly. Yeah. So and right. So AA women have to, that's what I'm saying. There's different. It'll be harder to donate and do transfusions for somebody who's an A positive or an A, or you know what I mean. It's harder than the O negatives and the O positives. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think one is the universal donor and the other one isn't. But just because they're O positive, I mean O carriers, they may or may not. Let's see. Donate. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is coming from the bloodcenter.org. All right, so fair use, copyright disclaimer. Um, the copyrights and fair use and all that good stuff. Okay. And this is again coming from the bloodcenter.org. If your blood type is O positive, you can give to O positive, A positive, B positive, and AB positive. If you're O positive, you can receive only from O positive and O negative. So that's each blood group has their own little crisis. Now, an A positive person can give to an A positive and an AB positive person. The A positive person can receive from A plus, A negative, O positive, and O negative. B positive can give to B plus, or B positive rather, and AB positive. They can receive, the B positive can receive from a B positive, B negative, O positive, O negative. Now, an AB positive can only give an AB, can only give to an AB. But an AB positive can get from everybody. So I believe they're the universal receivers, and the O people are the universal donors. Okay. So AB positive can give to all, could give to AB, A and B, O. So it's good to know this stuff, guys. What does that have to do with romance? Well, eventually somewhere along the line, you kids get together and make kids. Some women are sickle cell C trait carriers. It's mostly predominant in Africans and Asian women, i.e., Black Americans. In my family, that's a trait. All the women on my mother's side, they're Caribbean, i.e., African, i.e., Tainos. They're native, indigenous. They're of the land, right? But they have this issue with their blood than they would to a non-African or melanated African, indigenous American person. Oh, right? So it's good to know these things when we are getting involved with people. We need to know their blood types. We need to know their, sexual history. Again, with the chivalry, that needs to come back. Just like I need to know, do I need to, get tested and stuff? You know what I'm saying? Now we got to test for something else. But you need to have those kind of conversations with people that you're dating. Have you ever? It's a stigma, but please let me know. Because eventually we're going to have monogamous, unprotected sexual relations. And I don't know if I'll be susceptible to getting something that you had that's not curable. I'm putting my womb and my child at risk. So yeah, we got to step it up a notch when it comes to relationships. We got to bring those old things back. I don't understand how some people, it's not real. That's why people get on social media and they post themselves looking a certain kind of way, and living a certain kind of way, and they're not in reality. So that's why you have to ask people like, okay, you might be a plant-based vegan, crustacean, whatever, but did you ever get burned? Listen, it's a real conversation. I like you. We might get, things might be popping up. I need to know. I knew a guy who walked around with his papers, all his doctors, from syphilis to HIV to gonorrhea. He would walk around with. I was like, that's a bit much. I wasn't talking to him, but he has shown me, I don't play around. I let these women know. But I get him because he doesn't want anything. He's showing you like, look, I'm good. It's you I have to worry about. So he was like an old school Puerto Rican guy. I was like, I never. But then I heard another guy say the same thing. So I was like, oh, and these are older guys, but they were older than me at the time. This was like in the 90s. But teenage pregnancies were on the rise back then. A lot of sexually transmitted diseases were on the rise, right? We're coming out of that 80s era of AIDS, HIV, excuse me. So yeah, a lot of us were walking around, not I, but people were walking around with it was almost like credentials. No joke. They really were walking around like, I'm good. How about you? And it almost was like, oh, damn. Like, I don't know then, because I guess, No, it's not an egg. It's a piece of cheese. So your dad had sickle cell trait, yeah. So it can carry into the women, but I think it's on the maternal side. So if that's dad, so maybe dad's mom, Lotus, your grandmother might have had it, because it can come from the maternal side, but it still means if somebody has sickle cell C trait, it just means that your shape of your cells are a little funky. They look like a sickle, but you don't have the disease. So you're not going to go into crisis. Your organs are not going to fail. You might be borderline anemic. So, for women, when you're menstruating, you could lose, feel more cold or chilly. You're losing a little bit more blood, becoming anemic because of that. But that's all to do with the sickle cell C trait. Now, the sickle cell disease is just what it is. It's the disease. And it usually targets, because I worked in liver transplant with children in pediatrics, with children who've had lupus and sickle cell on top of that. And they're all autoimmune diseases. So, without going into that, because that I know, but because I'm not a medical doctor, I can't talk about it, but I know about it. So, it does happen more so in young adults and children with the sickle cell. They're kind of like born to this. Prodigy was a sickle cell disease. He had sickle cell anemia, the disease, and he was in lupus and battling back and forth, going into the hospital, going into shock, because when your body, going back into the health reading, when you get so overworked and you're handling the weight of the world on your shoulders, your body can actually start to shut down. It's going into crisis mode. So if you have an autoimmune disease, that's compromising your immune system. Now you're going to add on to this stress. Your body can go into crisis. It happened to me. And that it took years. It took years for me to get everything under control. So autoimmune diseases, though they're not visible all the time, they can be dangerous and deadly. All right. So yeah, you want to make sure you got somebody you're dealing with that their history, their sexual history, because if you're an immune suppressed person and you get your body compromised because you want to have a hot girl summer, you're going to be paying for it in the end. All right. So let's go ahead and kick off the romance reading. And maybe we'll have a mindful discussion in regards to more in regards to relationships and how we should, how certain things should, either be brought back or just made more aware of, because we're losing sight of our relationships. We're losing each other to other people, even though they're like, again, love and colorblind and all this stuff. But certain entities, certain powers that be, as I said, they promote a certain kind of look. And they constantly throw it in your face. So it almost makes you want to say, is it colorless? Or what's going on here? Right? Because in my family, we didn't grow up that way. It wasn't until I got into society that it was more, colorism and racism and all that stupidness. I grew up in a house of love, morals, etiquette, respect. This beast, the 666, that has tainted my mind, that has corrupted my mind. And as I grow older, I have to now unlearn the stuff that I've learned that's been force-fed down to me so that I don't know what they are up to. We haven't gotten that far away from slavery. Juneteenth, yes, celebrate, but the mental slavery hasn't gone anywhere. And maybe even some physical slavery. It may look like it on paper. We ain't all completely free. That's all I gotta say. All right. Wusava, what's up for the romance, for the collective? What do they need to know? What is this card doing here? Door to Spirit. Okay. So another card just was in my romance, and it says Door to Spirit. But I was doing a reading for myself, so that's probably why that popped up. That's why. But that's cute. That's letting us know Spirit is with us. Spirit is with you in your relationship. And also know, guys, with the relationship reading, this could be geared towards somebody in a relationship or not. Again, we take it because it's a general reading. But if you do want a romance reading, you can book a reading with me. And we could do that. Or if you want to do a quick little read here, that's fine. But for more detailed romance, we can go online. Book a reading. All right, so calling in your soulmate. Codependency, yes. And getting to know each other. All right, just as we're shuffling the deck, let's see. All right, so what is the card that the collective needs to know, please? What is their romance message? You guys want to know what your message is? Y'all really want to know? I don't think anybody, hopefully y'all like it. Singles and couples, I hope that you like it. It's love yourself first. Receive this message. Love yourself first. It says your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Bottom of the deck is finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Underneath that says release your ex. So whoever was going through some financial issues that we were looking at there, I trust that you know what you're doing when you're going to leave this job, because you've had enough. But it's going to be hard. So it's almost like don't cut your nose to spite your face. And even though we're going through this full moon and you want to let go of this, if you have a family or if you really need money, you really can't afford to jump out and say F this and I'm out and do the peace sign. You need to really think carefully and think this thoroughly through. Because if you have someone who depends on you and it's a one income home or a 1.5 income home, it's going to be a lot harder on you guys, and there's going to be this friction and this arguing and this fighting. It may lead to, you know what, I can't with you. It may lead to that. But we got forgiving and learning right underneath that, and then calling again, this getting to know each other. So it's not an ending in a divorce, but it's like, you know what, I gotta go stay over at my mom's house, so I'm gonna go over to my sister's house, or you go to your best friend's house or something at the moment, because what you just did right now, I gotta really sink that in, and if you don't get out my face, I'm going to blow up. Right? So it's that kind of conversation. But again, so your partner really needs to trust collective. Then if you're saying, you know what, I can't do this, I need this, I trust that you have a strong, supportive, morally, emotionally, and financially partner, because it's going to take a lot to get through this at the moment. All right. So there could be where there's some time, either you're going to, if you're thinking to leave this job or you're deciding to go back to school because of the money. You need to get more money and you're thinking this is the opportunity now. I trust that you're making the right decision, and I trust that you have a strong, supportive partner. It takes a lot. All right, so let's see what else is going on here with this love yourself first. Can't get too wrapped up with your partner, because I saw codependency in there too. Like you can't, like this person can't be your everything. I know some people say, that person's my earth, that's my world. My earth is dead, so that's that. My grandma, that's my earth. My children, I'm sure I would have some issues if one of them were to go before me. But any man, I'm not getting that consumed. After a while, like I can't. It overpowers me, and I don't like that feeling. So I don't want to be consumed by a man. This is not I shit, breathe, eat, sleep him. If you need to have those moments like, yo, I gotta, take some time, or they want to go away for the weekend or whatever the case may be. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking the time out. Look, I gotta go to the park. I'm doing my meditation, or look, at this time I'm doing my readings. I need time for myself. I gotta do my meditations. I gotta love me first. I gotta love on me first. And I ain't talking about the other love on me. So if you have a supportive partner who gets it, then there's not going to be too much of a problem. So, but I think we should have this kind of conversation for a Mindful Monday, like what relationships are not so much looking like, but what they should be, how they should be conducted. Apparently some men feel like they're not being heard. So what is it that you need to say? I think it's just this generation. So we need to have like a relationship kind of, not just doing relationship readings, but really having like a discussion and a panel on, what is that looking like? Because I don't know, like I kind of see it, and I see some people that will put this on their platform and stuff, but I do romance readings, and I also do it for a living. And what I read is completely different from the perception of what a relationship is. It's like I'm looking through a different lens. Even in my own relationship in childhood and as a teenager and as an adult, it's totally different from the readings. Like it's almost, now I wouldn't say night and day, but it's definitely a different, I'm kind of peeling back the layers or peeking through the curtain or the veil, if you will. So what I'm seeing in a relationship is different than me looking at a relationship and saying, oh, I can kind of surmise what's going on. But if I do a reading, I can see what's going on. So, we need to, that's why I'm like, okay, I've been on panels in regards to relationships. And I see certain platforms do that as well. But I peel back the veil. I pull the curtain back. So it's like I have a front row seat to the relationships, as opposed to standing back. I'm privy enough to go into that realm and go behind the curtains and see the how do you call it, the recital, dress rehearsal, right? And then you open the curtains and then it's showtime. It's something else shows, something else. We can perceive the relationship looking a little differently. So I think one day we can do that. And, I would love to have the males come up. Ivan's in the building. Salute. Yay. Haven't seen Ivan in a minute. Okay. Ivan G, yeah, you would be a great person to come up on the panel. I didn't open that up today because today's Wednesday. Today's my readings. But just reading your comments. Lotus says that and then that sets a whole nother precedent when we're lying to our children or we're telling them about, the whole Santa Claus, tooth fairies. My daughter came in and she's like, Mom, my tooth. She was like, I was waiting for $20. I was like, she's like, yeah, but I know it's you. I was waiting for you to come in and give me some money. I'm like, I don't have $20. I actually need $20. Can I take your tooth and let the tooth fairy come? She's like, Mom, you're silly. I have issues with iron. Yeah, and we gotta be careful now. And that's the thing too. Certain foods might be a detriment to us. They can actually, if you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, there's certain gluten stuff raw vegetables that you can't eat because it will tear your stomach apart. So again, while we would love to be on this glorious diet of plant life and veganism, some of us really, it might do the reverse for us and might cause us more damage. And well, how do you figure that if it's natural? I just said it. Certain raw foods will mess up a person who it has to take them a long time for it to get recorrected. But initially, they're gonna have a hard time eating that stuff. You know. All right, so let's see what else is going on here. Romance is telling us to love ourselves first. Exactly, Lotus. We're kind of like behind the scenes. All right, so we got hammer, we got boat, and then the runner in reverse. So in the middle of the deck is boat. And that's saying receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, closure issues. There you go. And then the runner in reverse says, runner is a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy, listening to ego. It's in reverse. My brother Rich Mo's in the building. Good morning. I'm like, where's Rich at? So hammer says here, sabotage, rebuilding, all right, working on, persistent. As I said, now if you have a strong support system at home and you're saying, listen, I gotta go, this job is stressing me out, I'm getting hypertension, my health is taking, a worse for the, turn for the worse. And you have a partner at home saying, all right, you know what? I do see this. Excuse me. I see this affecting you guys. I'm going to have to do what I have to do. This could hinder your, household. If there's a two income household, now it might be a one income household. And it's not like the person got fired or downsized. They're like, what do you do if your partner says, I can't, I'm stressed, I'm really stressed out and this is affecting my health? Do you let them die of a heart attack at work? Or do you say, you know what, honey, no, then you're going to have to stay home. And I may have to put in some extra work. I'm going to be mad tired. You'll be dog tired, but I guess I'm going to have to do it until you can feel better and get yourself. That takes a strong, mature, mentally healthy person. Because we got a lot of selfish people out here. Like we talked about the me, and the pick me. I don't think half of these people out here would really do that. I don't think they would say, you know what, honey, I actually do see this stress killing you. I see you going through it. You know what? Start circling the times, the wanted ads or whatever. Go online, whatever. We'll work through this. One of the questions you asked yesterday on the panel was, would you shame a man? Because there was 2 women on a panel and 4 guys. Yesterday I was on a panel. And he asked, should we shame, like bring back shaming? And should we shame? And shout out to JVJ if he comes through. That was on his platform. Should we shame a man if he's not making a lot of money? And so, of course, he shoots right to me. And I said no. He went to another young lady. She said no. The rest were all guys, as I said. They all said, yes, you shamed the dude for not having having that money. And I say, well, I guess it's because it's a man telling another man. But women, for the most part, and some women will stick by her man's side if he's not making that much money. Some women are not materialistic. So one of the guys is like, they're like, Foxy, you get it. I'm like, yo, but I'm coming from that generation that my family were all blue collared workers. They were mother and father worked for the city. They weren't in a corporate office. They were grassroots type people. My mom did eventually get to work in a office, but not like Wall Street or not like a downtown office, high end kind of thing. She worked in the office where she worked in the grassroots, literally. So economics never was an issue for me. And I never was going with the guy who was flashy because I knew what he was about and I didn't want to be a part of that life. So if you have a partner that can stand the rain, like in New Edition, and can weather the storm with you, kudos. We need that. We need you just as much as you need us. And some of us sit here are too proud to say it. And that's why I said bring in the chivalry. Don't be too proud. Oh, I could pull this. I could carry all these bags. No. Sometimes I do carry all the bags, and then they'll be like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? Why are you carrying all the bags?" I said, "I just needed to get it done and over with." That's just me being in my masculine. But chivalry hasn't left my house. Morals and respect haven't left my house. All right, let's move on to the next. So we got hammer here, and we got the runner. What else? What else? Let's hear. So we're taking a break. Some people need to. They'll regroup. This is not a definite. This is not an end all be all reading. This one has a conclusion. All right, so we got date, and then we have hands of cards. Take a chance, a risk, options, not showing your hand, gambling, meeting someone new, dating, getting back. Right. So, singles, bottom of the deck is wedding rings. Ooh, singles. Hold on a second. Union, wedding, married, soul connection, eternal love, everlasting promise. This is more towards the couples though. So don't no worries, single, no worries. But single, you're taking that time to love yourself, right? It's possible that you've come out of a relationship. So now you know what you want, what you don't want, what you'll tolerate. You might be looking a little bit different, looking not so stressed out anymore. Maybe the person you were dealing with was making you look. So now you're kind of like this wandon, or ladies could be looking a little, a little smooth, right? So there's this ace. That's what I look at the card. Thank you, Spirit. Look at the card. If you got an ace in the hole, you're not going to sweat the small stuff. If your husband or your wife says, "Listen, I can't with this. It's driving me up the walls, this place," and you got an ace in the hole, an ace kumbaya, you're good. That's the support system there. Sure, it could be a little frustrating. It could, come out to be a little angry sometimes because there's like this one income or half an income or whatever the case may be. It's getting us at our throats. We're getting at each other. But if you have this ace backbone, and I'm not talking about the codependent, gotta stick to your ribs type person. I'm talking about the person who's got your back, and we're gonna rock this out, and then we're gonna keep it moving. But the codependent, they're gonna be upset because they don't have no more money. Their little well is running dry. But, after all this is said and done, you guys can have a moment to breathe again, have a little date. Is it the Ace of Cups? No, it's the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. And who knows what can happen after that. All right, so let's get the last oracle for romance. We won't be too hard on each other, but it's getting real out there. You're not shaming anybody, but we're letting them know, listen, you gotta get your act together. Okay, so we got Cupid. Love is in the air. Yep. Past life, what else? Only because, like I said, if you have somebody who's about it with you, there's love. There's love there. You do it out of love. And I just said also with the chivalry. All right, so you got bond, surprise, and intense. Yin and yang, you could be, dealing with the twin flame type of energy. And then marriage again, guys. So singles, if you're not looking for it, it's going to come to you. Yeah, we got love calls. This could be a past person you were, dealing with and it didn't work out. And now, there's an opportunity. You're not in a relationship. This person's not in a relationship or they just want to, talk. If you guys were good friends, you might just want to, talk it out. All right. But, there is a bond there. This is a past relationship. And don't be surprised about with this person, because they may have that. This might be the one that got away, and it's intense, because this is the last card you have here. It's intense, and yeah, I knew that was going to show up. So we got universe underneath marriage, and then remarkable. I was waiting to see this ring. You might get married really fast. It's like this whirlwind. I think somebody had this collective. I think we had this reading a couple of weeks back. All right. So there's this type of fast magnetic relationship, this polarity that just pulls you back. And it's possible that you were past lives. And this is why this union is so intense. This bond is unbreakable. This bond is remarkable because it's went through some things. So this could definitely well be your soulmate, your twin flame, or just your life partner that's here to the end. The intensity of a true soul connection includes great highs and great lows. So I trust you're with that person. I really do, because I feel that whoever you're with is definitely a ride, as they say, a ride or die. They're going to the ends. And again, this is not a codependent relationship. So if there is a codependent relationship, this is not your message. You're going to be the wells are going to run dry for you. So you might need to figure out what to do. Singles, you could be having someone, like I said, that you previously used to date. Could have been somebody in high school, because I was getting this high school person earlier. Or, it's just a good friendship that never turned into a relationship. And it just happens to be the universe conspiring, to get this union together. You guys could have been such great friends. You had a good bond with each other, good conversation over the phone with this love calls, that it gets really intense really fast, and you guys can end up getting married. Hey, stranger things have happened, right? So who knows? To me, it sounds good. Sounds good. All right, so let's wrap up this reading, guys. If I went into my little tangent. All right, and I'm using a new deck, or a newer deck rather. Hold on, let me clear out these cards. Okay. So, all right, so this is it's called Divine Beloved. They're oracle decks. They're kind of, for me, the wisdom decks. This is just something for us to keep in our head. There's some affirmations in there. All right, and I already shuffled. Okay. So we got sacred self. I know I am love. Ooh. Listen, Cupid, the cherubim, right? The angels. Where's that card at? Where's that romance card? Love yourself and know that you are love. Says here, change me, divine beloved, into one who knows my true worth in every moment. Let me experience that I am. That's an affirmation. I am love. My own sacred self will always be drawn to kindred spirits. So, and then right underneath that, bottom of the deck is spirit. Can't make it up if I wanted to. I'm filled with light. What are we talking about all this week? 666, Lucifer and the light bearer, right? Change me, divine beloved, into one who knows my spirit is eternal and ageless. Let me release any old ideas of constriction and limitation. I'm going to repeat that. Let me release any old ideas of constriction and or limitation. That should be our full moon mantra to release, because we're in this full moon energy, right? Let me release old ideas of constriction or limitation. My whole being is filled with joy, energy, and beauty, a vessel for the divine. My whole being is filled with joy. It's filled with energy and beauty, a vessel for the divine. It's beautiful. Let you draw in this other one here with drawing in your kindred spirits, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all stardust, the 666, right? We're not getting scary about it. This is all what it means. It just means us. And if you have a, like I said, there's nothing like a good support system. And that doesn't, if your man is a good support system, I mean, kudos. But this could be family members as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be your significant other. Sometimes you might have to lean on, if it's too much and you and your significant other are going through something, you might have to lean on some family members or some really close friends. Not everybody wants to do all that. Not everybody is doing that. So, you can get help from, what I'm saying is you can have your support team with whoever your support team is. Doesn't necessarily have to be a significant other. But it's nice if it is. It sure helps. But we definitely have to get on this conversation with just the proper etiquette for romance, and just, have those kind of conversations, because you know what, those conversations, like when this guy was saying yesterday that men are not being heard, that might be what it is. Because but then what guy is like a girl? They're gossipy, but they're not going on an Oprah to spill their beans. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a place for that. And I'm saying, like, I don't know where this guy, who he's been around, but men do have, they voice their opinions to their friends, and they do talk to their wives or girlfriends about how they're feeling too. So I'm like, I don't know who he was not hanging around, but I'm like, dude, I don't know what men. I mean, there are some men that don't open up. This is true, but that's because they have some trauma. They don't know who to trust. I mean, but I'm just fortunate enough to grow up in an era that these men, they opened their mouth, didn't care whose feelings they're hurting. They're just talking. They're saying it as it is. There was no sugarcoating. So, but that has been the midweek reading. Cooling in the gang, in the crew is here. Blessing, salute. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just fortunate enough to Brasco. That was a long 5 hours. And I wish you were there. Cause House was like, House needs a hug. He was in the chat just going off. And I was hoping that Jay would pick him up and let him talk on the panel. Because I was like, what is he talking about that men are not being heard? Who's he around? Like, we had a good discussion, because then we were talking about what shaming is, and should we continue, like, should we bring shaming back? And I'm like, I said shaming never left. We still do it to this day. That's why I asked the question, or the question was asked, would you shame a man who doesn't have a lot of money? Why? Why would I do that? I mean, I understand that there's people that do that, but that I'm not shaming. If anything, I'm saying, listen, we got to get this together. There's a difference from telling the truth and giving tough love and hard knocks than like berating them and emasculating them and telling them, oh, you ain't shit. You can't even hold the job down. That's shaming. So some of the guys, I don't know. I don't know if they missed the mark or they were just being emotional about it. But I was just like, no, you don't. And then I threw the question back at them, because they try to ask, well, who's more sexist, women or men? And I said, women are. And I said, well, let me ask you, would you shame a young or a woman or a girl if she was stripping? So then they were like, no. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, there's still sexism. Yeah, there's still they said that they would talk to her if it wasn't like, if it was their daughter, but if it's some girl and they're seeing this, and I'm like, and they're going to the strip club, right? I said, don't sit here and be hypocritical. Because I would tell her, I would kind of shame her. Then they asked, would you shame a girl if she got pregnant out of wedlock? And I said, yeah, I would shame her. I was one of those girls out of wedlock, and I was ashamed of what I did at that age. We got to be real with each other too. That's the other thing. Like the internet got us like kind of like fake woke, fake something, fake. And I'm like, maybe it's the generation I grew up from, because I am kind of older than most of the people that I talk to on the panel. on any given panel. I think the oldest yesterday quick is like what, maybe my age. But I mean, for the most part, I'm a good 10 years older than most of my viewers, a big majority of my viewers. So my perception and point of view is something a little different. And I might not understand it because I'm in a different time frame now. And we're in this age of Aquarian on top of that. So my views might be a little outdated. Where's that card that we were just talking about with the spirit? Let me release any old ideas of constriction and limitation. So this is for me, guys. You know, the wisdom card, that actually is hitting home, because I do have not old ideas, but old school way of thinking. And I may not fully connect with, the group 20 years younger than me or 10 years younger than me, because I kind of been removed. But then also this generation is definitely light years ahead. They were on the internet. Babies come out playing and swiping phones. A computer in my house was, even on the block, was far and few. So we didn't, you know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up in the age that everybody is in now. And so my train of thinking, if I'm talking about chivalry, it sounds old and old school and old fashioned. I'm like, but if you think about it, that's what people really want anyway. The courting, the flirting back and forth, the sweet things, the little sweets back and forth, right? Not everybody wants a quick bam, thank you, ma'am, and then keep it moving. Everything is very microwavable right now. Next, I don't like the way she looks. Next, I'm swiping to the next picture. Next. Oh, she's cute. Let me talk to her. And she's got a Minnie Mouse voice. Next. So, we're not really doing the true connection of, walking, side by side with them and just listening to them, not even holding hands, just actually like standing next to this person and talking to them. Do you know, we don't know the language of love anymore. We're missing the mark. But go back to my time and go back to your mother's time and even your grandmother, the 50s. I would say go back all the way to the late 40s, 50s. Listen to that music. And then come up to the 80s. The 90s had some good music too. We got Jodeci. But stop there. Confessions album. Stop there at 2004. Anything else after that is not romantic, sweet love making music. It's not. It's just beats put together. Some girl who possibly can sing, but she's no Anita Baker. She's no Toni Braxton, right? Or Whitney Houston. They're just kind of like, they're doing their own little quirky thing. It sounds nice, but I'm talking about singers. Listen to some Otis Redding. Who else? Listen to some John Coltrane. Yes. He has the card. You have the card? I will. Okay, I will. Love you too, babe. If you listen to that type of music, it'll definitely make you fall in love. Frankie Lyman, Miles Davis, a plethora of different tunes. It's going to touch your heart. It's going to reach your soul. Yeah, Anita Baker. Ivan knows what I'm talking about. They don't have, there isn't another Anita Baker. And if they are, they're far and few. They're not letting us hear her. They're really not, which is a shame. And that's hold on, guys. I'm multitasking here for a second. Okay. Um, it's that death to the death culture, right? Ooh, Lady Fresh is in the building. The let me get this right. The fresh perspective. There we go. Jen's in the building. Woo! Jen's in the building. All right, the ladies are coming through. Woo. We got more ladies up in here now. And music had to change to work the narrative. That's right, Lotus. Cool and Crew. Yes, we definitely appreciate you for dropping by. Jen is in the building. What's up, Jen? So is the shaming technique supposed to make folks stop a behavior? Nobody got to that. But that, I think that's the consensus, is if we shame somebody, we hope that they will snap up out of their their wrong behavior. But that's the notion. If we shame them, and see, we got to know what the definition of shaming is. We got to know the difference between, is it shaming or is it tough love? Like, am I telling you this because I love you, or I'm being facetious and I'm telling you, you're skinny, you know what I'm saying, and just like make fun of you the way you look. Like, that's shaming, that's bullying. But my grandmother be like, oh, you're losing so much weight, you gotta eat, you know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't shaming me, she just wasn't like happy to see me losing so much weight. And she knows that I'm naturally skinny, but she's like, you need to put some more weight on you. Now, I could take that as a shame, even though I'm skinny, and skinny girls, we go through our issues. But there's a difference, and that's where we're having this kind of like going back and forth, because like one got Billy, like they like, and then Alexis came in and she was like trying to skirt around the word, and it's like, she had the definition of it, but I'm like, we got to know the difference between shaming somebody and emasculating, because one of the guys was like, my mom was shaming me, she was shaming my man, and we were there, and I'm like, he said emasculating, and I'm like, emasculating would be taking a 6-year-old little boy and letting him wear bubblegum lip gloss outside. That's emasculating. Telling him he needs to get up and do X, Y, and Z, and he's mouthing off at his mother, and she says, you don't pay no bills in here. It's not emasculating. It's letting his little funky behind know, listen, you don't pay nothing in here. How dare you talk back to me? They were missing the mark, and I don't know if it's because of the age or just the upbringing, but I'm like, that's not shaming. And shaming, yeah, that it never went anywhere. JB's like, should we bring that back? And I guess he's trying to say, like, shame them publicly, like the way a Kevin Samuels was kind of doing. Nobody before him was really doing that. There was far and few of those guys coming on a platform and airing out their laundry about women or how they feel and stuff like that. Like, for the most part, if you're a man's man, you're not going to be talking about that stuff. Like, not to everybody in the world. So you kind of look simpish. You look bussified if you're out here like, oh, well, they don't get me, and they're looking for 6 figures and do. Like, you sound silly. And then you wonder why you're not being heard, because nobody wants to hear that sniveling. Now, if you're having an intelligent conversation and you're talking about solutions within the relationship and with us collectively, then yeah, some voices might be a little more baritone, some might be a little higher and passionate. But there's this love language, there's this mutual border, we're on board with this, we're on one accord with this one situation. But because you feel like then they were talking about Lizzo. Lizzo knows, I don't know if she knows better. I think she knows better. She's just making herself a target, because she knows that she's too big to be putting on certain things and looking like that. I don't care if you got the body to wear it. That's what we were talking about yesterday. I myself, because I was skinny, I was ashamed. But growing up in an era, even if you have a little something, you're coming of age, and there's these older guys looking at you. They're looking at you in a different light. And, I would hide underneath all that. I'm like, I don't want nobody looking at me. I never wore skirts like that. If I did, they were long. I didn't have the legs to wear mini skirts. I wasn't allowed to wear mini skirts. That was for an adult or a teenager, an older teenager. But for a little 6-year-old girl, 7, no, you're wearing a dress. That's what I'm saying. We gotta have a mindful Monday where we can have people come on and talk, and have it where it's kind of not a balanced, but have men and women come on and talk about the etiquette of relationships. I don't care about your 6 figures. I don't care. Listen, if you have to work McDonald's, listen, or Chipotle or something like for the time being, so that you can get on to where you need to be, then that's what it is. I'm not coming from an era where you just need to have a good paying job so we can have air conditioner in the house, so we can have some food, and maybe we can go out to to upstate New York and picnic and go to the pool and stuff. We didn't take vacations. We weren't that privileged. My family, if we did, it was driving down to my aunt and uncle's down in Virginia. But the days of getting on a plane, I took my first plane ride when I was 12. And that was to go to Jamaica to see my family. And then we went to Mexico on a cruise. But I wasn't privileged to go on trips. My mom and dad rarely took trips. It was with the kids, or they would go hang out with their friends, or my dad would hang out with his buddies and they'd go like do a day trip. This vacation business now it's new, or not. It's dependent on if you can afford it or not, and we couldn't. But I wasn't missing out on anything. You get what I'm saying? Because I was well-rounded with my parents, regardless of our issues in the household. Regardless, I still had a wonderful childhood, and I grew up with manners and respect and etiquette, especially coming from some Caribbean people who were all about etiquette, because that's the closest thing to godliness and to being white. It's like, listen, you got to look a certain way, you got to act a certain way, you got to be refined, you got to talk a certain kind of way, and it's still like that. And some of us make fun of each other and be like, oh, why are you acting, or why are you sounding like that? And you know what I'm going to say, right? I said it to my aunt, not realizing, but then I was 16 years old. But it's the way you say it. It can move you into certain places. You got to know how to do your lingo. Got to be smooth with the language, the semantics. You can't walk into a place and be like, yo, yo, yo. Not to find establishment. step to you. You have a problem? You have a problem here? You're just happy. You're like, yo, 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 yo. It's a time and a place. And we have to know. Because that's how we can get it. If y'all heard the term or the word, the spook who sat by the door, that's what we gotta be. Not coonish, but be the spook. Ear hustle. Speak a little lingo, and you see where it's gonna get you. Because trust me, everything is surface, and they look at you surface level. But when you speak intelligent words that they like, that they use, I think they have to silence Malcolm X, Detroit Red, little 2-bit hustler. He wasn't popping that shorty doo-wop. The nation. And he could have, because he's reaching men that were like him. But his etiquette, and he understood he said, I didn't know how to read. He had a 4th grade education. He learned to read by reading the Bible, the dictionary front and back, according to Alex Haley's autobiography. He read the dictionary, sounded words out, knew how to put them into a sentence. The nouns, the verbs, the pronouns, the adjectives. The basic stuff that we're supposed to know is falling short. So this is why, for some people, words are different from others. I went to a Catholic school. We were big on vocabulary and spelling and English. This is why I can go into certain places and get jobs and conduct myself a certain kind of way, because I know how to flip the script. Doesn't matter what the color. They'll even be like, what? I thought you was, Hispanic. Oh, you don't speak any Spanish? No, I don't speak any Spanish. It gets me removed from certain jobs because I don't speak multi-languages. But for the most part, if you speak the Queen's English and you understand their laws and you read it, you're a winner. Chicken dinner, you're a winner. There's nothing wrong with talking and being a certain kind of way and conducting ourselves. But when it's time for business and it's time for war, the shucking and jiving needs to stop. We need to get on one accord. And this back and forth with each other is a problem. We don't know. We're losing the true art form of dating because we have speed dating now. We have apps for dating. We can go through our Instagram and look at pictures and be like, she's cute. Nah, she's busted. Ooh, she got a fatty. She's got a cute face with her up. Then you're going into their bio. Maybe they might. Or now you're listening to an audio of what they. We can't help it because it is here, right? It's here to stay. But the courting has to continue. It doesn't stop. And some of us has really just dropped the bag and it's like, listen, we can get stuff in an instant now. I don't have to say too much to make her laugh. I don't really have to pull out too much money. I don't really even have to take her out anywhere. It's like, what? You just gotten lazy? You don't fall in love with the art of falling in love? What is going on? This is why we are going through this stuff, this warfare. Because we forgot what love was. They took love away from us. So now it's this constant. We don't hear it. I mean, Baker no more. They don't even really play her too much on the radio stations. Then it killed Prince off. But what do we have listened to now? The newer girls, I like their stuff. But it's not memorable. It doesn't make me want to start taking off stuff and moving around a certain kind of way. When I listen to Janet Jackson's Anytime, Any Place, the instrumentals alone will make you start doing some stuff. And that's in the 80s. Go back to the 60s. I like to listen to Little Anthony and the Teenagers. And those kind of doo-wop songs and Ella Fitzgerald and who was the other one? At Last, Etta James. I like that stuff. I grew up in that, listening to my mom's old albums. Love Otis Redding. His words just pinch right into my soul. They don't have that right now. I don't hear Otis. I don't hear anybody close to that in R&B.
Give it to Mama.
You gave it?
I gave her the car.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I'm afraid I need to get some money.
Oh. Hold on, guys. Here.
Sorry, guys.
So they don't have that type of style right now, and it's really it's a detriment, and it's unfortunate that they don't. Because there's this art of just courting each other. There's this art of learning to love each other. There's this movie called Love Jones with Lorenz Tate and what's her name? What was her name? That was in Friday. Cute Nia Long. That movie is like what it is to the art of falling in love or the art of courting and the art of being in a relationship. Like we pick certain cues up from this person because we're so interested in them. We can almost become obsessive, but as long as it's in a healthy obsessive way. I don't know if that makes sense. That might be an oxymoron, but what I'm saying is it's so you just want to know everything about this person because you're so in awe with them. That's part of that courting. Buying they don't do it anymore, but buying their favorite record or their just my Venus is in Leo, so I love big. I love all that type of big love, but meaningful stuff, not validations, but just this big love, but it means so much. Even if it's the smallest thing, you get what I'm saying? I wish he would take his allergy medicine. Now he's going to be sitting there sneezing all damn day. Is that bashing? Smashing? What is that called? Is that shaming? No. Okay, just going to read your comments real quick. We got 2. Yeah, Anita Baker, like there's nothing. Oh, Yeah, Tony Braxton, Ivan says it was his closest match to Anita Baker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she stepped her game up. So she knew those are her idols. Um, they don't have that now, and it's kind of unfortunate. So that's why I was giving a suggestion that listening to old R&B music. I think well, this is a New York station, but you can even just go on Pandora and put in like that, because that's how I get like the little Anthony's and the what's the other one? Frankie Lyman. It's Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. Um, and I put it in Pandora, and I have a playlist. I have a playlist of just it's 93's hip hop radio station, a Tupac station, and then a John Coltrane. And then I'll have like the 80s R&B and 90s, R&B and stuff like that. Um, because I don't know what the radios are playing anymore, and I don't listen to that. So for me, if I'm going outside, I have, the Pandora's playlist, and I got my own playlist, and I'm jamming out that way. So all my music is old school. I even got old school salsa music on there. So, if we can do that, the frequency, this love frequency will elevate. And it's not on some hippy dippy stuff. It's really on some, we gotta, like Tupac said, and his birthday is tomorrow. My hubby. It's time, like he said, it's time to heal our women, be real to our women, right? That's in that Keep Your Head Up song. He's not lying. And that was in 1993. It's almost 2023. And it's a losing art day by day. Because we gotten into this feminist thing, and women are, some women are just like, I'm woman, hear me roar, all this. I don't want to take away from nobody's little things. But it's like, yeah, it's an accomplishment, but we don't need. That's the problem. Some people want this validation. You gotta know when it's right and when it's not. And you don't need validation or accolades for every little thing. This is something that you should be doing. That's why I was just telling you. My husband now unconsciously walks on the other side. When I told him this years ago, and he makes it his business, bless his heart, to walk on the outside of me. So that's what I'm saying. It's this, just the smallest little thing. Now, most women wouldn't say that. So I tell my son he has to do that with me, and he does that with his girlfriend. And now he does it. It's an etiquette. If you're talking about black girl magic and black boy joy because you've made an accomplishment, no, go back to the 60s, 50s, and 40s. That's black girl and black boy joy magic. That's refined. Those kids, you see pictures of them, even just the way they carry themselves. Again, I don't want to take away from these little nuances or sayings that make people feel good, and it's like we've arrived and we've come, and I might sound, like a racist. Not racist. It's just realism. And we're so caught up with emotions and semantics, and I get guilty of that too. You read something and you can misinterpret what you read, and now you're up in arms about it, right? So we have to know their words, study the dictionary. Like I just said, Brother Malcolm studied the dictionary. He knew how to finesse and talk to these people on the panel. Watch the Berkeley where he's on a panel with 3 other men, Caucasians, and they're just going in, like ping-ponging him. And Brother Malcolm's just sitting here like, now, no, I didn't acknowledge that last name. And the guy still kept insisting, well, what is your father's last name? Well, my father didn't know what his last name was because he was taken from. Don't play with Brother Malcolm. That's what I'm saying. He used the words that they used against them. And when we stop getting into this battle with emotions and hear what people are saying, it becomes less upsetting to us. We have to be real at some point. Because for some of us, what we see on social media is not our lifestyle. Now, these people could be very well so living this true lifestyle, right? But I'm not. And maybe somebody else isn't. So we could perceive this and look at this like, wow, this person's, got it together and they're doing all this, whatever. But we still got to love ourselves. Where's that card? We got to love ourselves first. We can't really be looking at anybody else at this point. We don't have the luxury anymore. It slipped away. We don't have the luxury to sit back and look at somebody else and just be like, you know what? No, stay in your lane and get your own stuff and what's suitable for you. If you don't know how to finesse certain people, a conversation came up yesterday as well in the panel that I was in, and they asked, should a woman be paid equally, as equivalent to the man's salary in, I guess, in her division? And somebody has said, no, it's depends on how well this person works. And I said, you know what? That's true. But we've gotten into such a condition that certain powers that don't be, that want to be, have trained the women to think one way and have shut the men to in their groups, right? And now out of that, we've birthed this feminine, and the Me Too, where, okay, certain situations require special attention. And depending on the severity of it, it may need some emergent attention. But not, like I just said, not everything deserves an accolade. Not everything deserves a pat on the back in front of people. Be the spook who sat by the door. Listen, pay attention that way. Don't stop paying attention this way because it's got you lost in the sauce. Now you're looking at something else and you're not paying attention. You're not hearing what somebody's saying. You're too in your emotions about it because you're looking at it. Remember, we got to watch what we eat with our eyes, not just our mouth. Because we're looking at something that might look like it's something, but we don't know how that person got it, whether it's fake or not. I get like that too. I'm in my bag like, are they really? Do they really? Because I know, you know what I'm saying? And then we start comparing, but we got to know what's right for us. If it works for us, it works for us. And that's what it is. But we got a few things that we got to work on with ourselves before we can go ahead and venture off into something else and somebody else's business, is all I'm saying. The whole thing with relationships is one key point, and then we got finances. We're so divided. And watching James Small the other day on Black Magic, we're so divided. You're Christian, you're Catholic. Oh, if somebody says, what religion are you? They don't want to say it, or it gets real personal, and it can be. But it's caused so much division within certain groups of people that it's so, like, everything is so, you're this, you're ADS, or what is it, ADOS, FBLA, whatever, you're indigenous, you're more, you're conscious, and it's like, Gee, but at the end of the day, isn't it all just the same? No, Foxy, because, and there's a rhyme and a reason for it. Then we're back to square one again. Because if we know what the semantics are and we know certain terms, it doesn't matter what is being said about us or to us, because it's not applying to us. But some people are in their feelings about certain things and they think, yeah, this is applying to me. Listening to the Commodores. Like, what? Come on. Stitch. Elder Barge. Yeah. Yeah, Ella May. That she's new, right? Rosnetta? Ella May? Or her name sounds, it sounds like it could be an old school name. Rich bro, look at you. Mature women look for financial security, and some who is going to. Oh, that's what we ask. Yeah, we gotta have some kind of well-roundedness. I haven't had a real vacation in years. Yeah, me neither. Not since like I was doing like mini trips by myself and stuff. But that's another story. Yeah, I haven't had a real vacation either since like Hurricane Katrina. I was on a cruise ship. Me and my husband picked the day of, or not the day of, but it was like the day, 2 days before Katrina hit. And we're like, we're not canceling this. It took us every little penny and then some to get to this trip. Taking a weekend cruise to the Bahamas in the biggest hurricane. Oh my goodness. It's alarming how easily people can be programmed. Yeah, Ivan. At last. Mm-hmm. Yeah, P-Funk Parliament. Yeah. Bootsy. P-Funk was on something else too, though. They definitely. That's that music that wants you to get up and jam and dance. Falling in love with the art of falling in love. Yeah, that's what and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's what my problem is, because I grew up seeing love. I saw the action of it. You know, we didn't really tell each other. We did say that we loved each other, like, maybe at nighttime or something. Like, parents would kiss me goodnight, I love you, or if they're going off to school, if I got, I spoke to my mom and then before I hang up the phone, she's like, I love you, right? But for me, growing up, it was more of the verb. So I saw a love language that made me fall in love with love, if that makes sense. Now we don't have that. We don't have that art form. We got too many of us bickering and yelling at each other, that it's not showing our children what love is. And I'm not even talking on a sexual level. We're not, our music is not showing it. Some of these shows, yeah, they do show it. They try. But they also then throw in their little agendas in the show. So even if it's supposed to be this nice, positive, show that has a message behind it and stuff, it's like everything has now something else in it. And I'm like, I don't even want to see that stuff. Like, I like I said yesterday to the guys on the panel, I know what a man's man is. People, they want to be, everything is equal opportunity, and everything and everyone wants a right. So now it's like, okay, everybody wants a right, but you know what? Everyone doesn't have the right. And that's the problem. But because some people are more sensitive and in their emotions and they want to make it a happy place. And it's like, that's not, I don't know if that's happy or not, but they're going to program us to make us think that it is. So eventually we're all going to be on one accord saying, yeah, that's the right thing to do. Because everybody's like, yeah. And they're like, when do we speak out? Somebody was talking yesterday that the men, they don't have they've been silenced for too long. And if they do speak out, they're getting tarnished. But then he was using references of celebrities. The average man or the average Joe that does speak out, he's not, there's no consequence for him. He's not going to lose a sneaker deal or a record deal or any type of sponsorship. So if you're coming from a celebrity standpoint, then yeah, maybe they have been silenced. But then women have been too. So that's why I'm like, I don't get what you're trying to say. But he's also coming from a Muslim world, and he has been living in the States for some years. So he's seen both sides of the spectrum where, in the Middle East and being Muslim, the women are treated like nothing. And it's here that, it's that, wah. And that's why I was like, the other day, I said, people who say, oh yeah, I'm going to go out, to these other countries and so forth. Okay. They don't treat the women too kindly. So here we have the liberties. And even though I said we're not completely free, we have liberties than those other places. Oh, she's new? Okay. I'll look her up. Didn't he, Richmo? Sorry, y'all, I'm eating pineapple. Breakfast / lunch. Malcolm X finessed any of his interviews, but especially the ones where he was sitting on a panel and he was talking amongst these white reporters. He didn't let them steer him not one bit. That's a true Taurus. Fixed energy, he won't budge in nowhere. And then he's sitting like this, cool as a breeze. He said, now if you let me finish, because you're cutting me off, and Mike, you always do this to me. He knew who he was talking to. He said even he knew that the streets were watching. He'd offer them some coffee. He was trolling. Malcolm was a troll. He went to the police, was like, you want some coffee? He knew he was being surveillance. It's like you gotta beat them at their own game. It really is a chess game. We're out here playing a game, even though it's real. It's what they call assimilation, and assimilation can feel very real. We're in it. That steak sandwich. What did that guy say in the Matrix? It was mush. Thank you. It was mush. But he was like, it's a steak sandwich. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there is work to be done. Can't look at the grass on the other side and be like, ooh, it's green. Remember, we had this conversation. No, your grass can grow and get green just as well. You may have to use a different fertilizer. But let's not forget his methods came from the most honorable. Yes, Ivan, because Ivan's coming from that generation. I'm not taking anything away. I'm just saying he is my master teacher, if anything. But I know that he got his study under his master teacher. But Malcolm, excuse me, he understood the assignment and he finessed it. And he was able to get more than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did because he was out there finessing them. And he didn't have to use the jive turkey talk. He could have. That's what I'm saying. Like when we start, we could finesse it. We can. When we get out of our emotions about it and getting nobody likes me. It's not that. And we're gonna have a talk, Ivan. Ivan, you do a show. I'll come on your show. He did, but he also he finessed it. Look, we gotta be for real. Malcolm finessed some stuff, and Elijah Muhammad almost he liked that. Like you could see in some of the speeches, you could see Elijah just looking at him like, "Go ahead, boy, you doing the thing." Like in admiration, but also like, "I'm gonna let my little man take over. Like he got this." You know what I'm saying? And so Malcolm did that. Even though he got the teachings, he still put his own essence into it. That's like you making gumbo. It tastes like gumbo, but you threw something else in there that's only your secret ingredient. You get what I'm saying, Ivan? There's a cosmic theory in those people from they got from the Sun Ra, the jazz artist. With the P-Funk. Parliament. Yeah, all the 70s. That's what I'm saying. If we do a playlist to go back like 60s, 70s, 50s, even the 50s, to like I said, Usher's Confession album. I played the mess out of that damn album. That's where the true artistry, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, that's where it kind of died down. Now, again, that's not to say that there are newcomers that are, they have their own mark. But I'm starting to sound like the old people. Back in my day. But I'm like, we really did have a golden era of the late 80s into the 90s. Like we birthed culture. Like we birthed another culture. So we can sit back and be like, back in the days I was pop locking. I did the pop locking first. Because we did. The old timers never really said, they used to do the squish and all that. Like they said, they would show you to do the dance, but wait till we get to be in our 80s. The kids who grew up in the 80s, when we get to be like 70, 80 years old, we're gonna be you know about the pop locking, right? The B-boy, he started that. That's gonna be us. Okay, so And the mannerisms. Yeah, I usually watch Malcolm. I'm gonna watch again. But he definitely emulated. Like and Malcolm, brother Malcolm said that, that was his father figure, his brother figure. So he definitely, um, even if he emulated him, he still, you can't take away. He still put a little something of himself, his essence. You can replicate as much as possible, and you can imitate or emulate as much as possible. But when Denzel Washington did um, Malcolm X, I wasn't watching Malcolm X. I mean, I wasn't watching Denzel Washington, is what I'm saying. And Malcolm X, to me, when I watch his footage, I know who he gets his teachings from, and he's most humble and honorable to mention his teacher. But he still puts just a little bit of him in it, is all I'm saying. Okay. Just a little smidget. Um, but yeah, if you want to go back to that stuff, that for me is this, the black girl magic, as they say. Like we get so caught up with the names and the Juneteenth, they took the patent off, so now the company can't patent off for that. Good, because we were like, the grassroots was really not having that. And when I saw it, I'm like, I knew. Maybe not talking to them personally, but I knew me posting what I was posting and having a conversation about it, and more people catching on. The company got shut down from to try to patent Juneteenth. So I have a small little part in that. If you see me, I'm all the way in the back. Let me put some lips on. My small bit, I'm all the way in the back somewhere. But y'all can see me. Yeah, so that got shut down. So, small strides, small steps will make, though it'll be long and arduous. Yes, this we know. But if we continue in a different direction, we can't do what our humble leaders, if you will, it's like, all right, they did that. Now what do we do? All right, let's go to the drawing board and figure out, okay, we can't do this on a larger scale. We can't do an honorable Mosiah Marcus Garvey, right? We can't do it all on a larger scale anymore. That's just not going to work. It can, but they won't let it work, right? So we got to go back to the drawing board and start off on a smaller scale. And by that, it's talking and having this dialogue with each other, maybe on a one-on-one, maybe on a two-on-two, in the family discussions, right? Or even having a discussion online. You can go on a panel and voice, your views, and, people will hear what you're saying. There's some traction to what you're saying. And slowly but surely, I'm like, for myself, I'm in different rooms, different channels on Instagram that, the people that receive me, or if I'm talking on one panel, it's all, can you come over to my panel then? And then when I'm talking, there's this dialogue, and whether they agree with what I say completely or not. We've been on a panel together with Raz Girl. We may not all, we're not going to agree on it all. But when we have a smaller circle, we can start to grow outward, and eventually it will catch fire. Because, woe is the day of really doing the whole marching thing. They try to do that again with the George Floyd. And I'm like, well, where's everybody at now? And there's still injustice going on with what, because it's a cop. Yeah, you gave more smoke for the cop than you did for this person, this 18-year-old boy. And I don't care if he's an 18-year-old boy. He killed, what, 9 people in Buffalo, New York? The president went and dropped some flowers down. Nobody was out there marching. Nobody was going to the, injustice is injustice, right? It's like, oh, we're going to choose and pick. Oh, yeah, but we know, yes, under the law. I just saw a very disturbing commercial. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is pregnant? I think they slipped that in there. I cannot unsee now what I saw. Maybe I didn't see anything. But you know, it's like we're choosing and picking what's the issue, what's not the issue, and it's just like, you know what? Either stand for something or you're gonna fall for anything. Brother Malcolm X. So either it bothers you that it was a white 18-year-old or a white cop. It maybe why, because he's a cop, it gets more, but they're still under that same. Maybe that's just me. There's no smoke for it, is what I'm saying. But everybody was going all over the country and the world. And we had somebody who was an inventor, had some work patenting it. People going to pick up birthday cakes, just going shopping and picking up food. Legit. And nobody's really, it's like, it's a tragedy, it's a shame. They're still having interviews of people from the Texas. Oh, but no, Foxy, that was children. That was very disturbing. I know, we've seen this a couple of times. We don't really see too much when it's a church or a small little grocery store in a rural town that's mostly melanated. But world is in arms. So I'm like, yo, either you give them all, or either you fall for it, or you stand for it, or you're gonna fall for anything. And I think a lot of us are falling for anything now. We're not really seeing, we're trying to give it a reason. We're trying to rhyme with it. And it's like, then give everybody that. Give it all. He's the son of one of them. He's the 666. But we're going off somewhere else. That's what I'm saying. Where do we go? Because some of us is like La La Land, Twilight Zone. La La Land, Twilight Zone. Like, we're really so caught up in the Matrix. Really caught up in the Matrix. But you know, some of us are like, you know, we're going into different platforms and we're conversing. And some things are not going to be on and shouldn't be said. Definitely, I agree on that. It should, you know, if you can do stuff behind the scenes, then you do stuff behind the scenes. But when you do fellowship with somebody, kick it to them with the realness. Because everything is a joke now. But when you're real, somebody takes you they listen, because everything's a joke. A serious meme is a joke. You're too serious, then you're too serious. You don't know how to laugh. You don't know how to joke. You don't know how to have fun. No, I do. But like I said the other day, if they're not going to stop, why should I stop? Why? I'm not going to. They're not taking days off. Why should I take days off? Besides the days that they give me. Then I'll take a break. All right, then we fall back. But that gives room for a lot of other stuff to come through. That's all. It gives room for a lot of stuff, for other stuff to come through, because you sat back and was like, nah, I give up. I'm not going to do that. And it's understood. Because again, there's a lot. Like I said, I almost was like, yesterday, just like, okay, just listening. But at the same time, I'm like, there's this missing link here again. There's this missing link. I keep asking how to connect it. And it's not just even the age gap. It's now men and women. There's this link that's missing. It's been broken, and we can mend it because we're alchemists. We can mend it back. But the further and further you let things get pulled back and away, gives the opportunity for something else to come in. Now you got a wedge between you and everything else. We need each other, men and women. It's unfortunate that some of us can't get along because we got some real pinhead douchebag men that are just pigs, disgusting. I'm not talking about dirt. And then you have some women that are the same. So it's hard, and especially if you procreate with them and you have children, and it's hard to, keep this balance and mutual ground, because they're even worse probably now with the kid than they were before. So, okay, that doesn't work. We still can go around it and do something differently. These men on the platform was talking about, because they heard Kevin Samuels, and I said, you know what? He was kind of a detriment to the heterosexual, masculine, alpha male. He made it more beta and feminine, where it's this kind of, we're going to be equal, or we're going to put you down because it's our turn to shine. And it's like, we still need you though. So it's this rat race in a sense. It's like this cycle that keeps going back and forth, where it's like, some men want to be released from that, and they want to, but then I'm looking at that as something else. Because when I'm listening to these young men yesterday, I'm like, my dad was not talking like this. He was not talking about he needs to be heard. He's the man. We hear him. Period. And they're a little younger, but I'm teaching my son, between me and his father, no, you can talk to us. We need, let them be heard, but not this little crybaby. I'm like, listen, my mom's was like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, dust your pants off, Stop. You better stop crying real quick. Listen, she was treating me like I was a little boy. So I understand why there's some boys and young men out here now that can't really express themselves and have an issue with talking to a female because their mom was like that. I had one of those mothers. So maybe that's why I'm a little more rough around the edges with my kids or in a relationship. I really have low tolerance for beta stuff, for bussy stuff. I have low tolerance for that. You know, it to me, it's borderline sin. You're crying. I don't want to hear you crying about stuff that you know you're supposed to be doing, that you should be doing, right? But this younger group, that's why I had to fall back, because I'm like, they're coming from a sensitive era. And they are not, their moms didn't want to listen to them. Or whatever the case may be. I don't know. And that's why I was like, I don't know. I never heard of no man saying he's never been hurt. If he's talking about a relationship, he doesn't need to tell everybody about his relationship. Just like a woman doesn't need to tell everybody about her relationship. So what is it that we're missing here? What is it that guys are saying they're not being heard in relationships? Last I checked, we're not really supposed to be talking to everybody about our relationships. It's called gossip. And it was that whole Oprah Winfrey era that destroyed the housewives sitting at home because they have an issue, they can't work, or they don't want to work, or the husband tells them not to work. So now they're they're the Peggy Bundy. They're sitting home eating bonbons, listening to Oprah, watching the TV. My mom didn't do that. That's why she was rough. Like, pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Wipe those tears away. Shut your mouth. You better shut that mouth up. I had it bad like the boys. That's why I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, homeboy, but my mom was definitely strict with me. You know, and another had said that he had left his mom's house at the age of 15 because she said, you know, well, you think you're a grown man, then you can get out of my house. He said, would you cast judgment on a woman that does that? I'm like, I can't. That's her. If a 15-year-old boy is flexing and he's talking about I'm a grown man, no, son, you're not. Now, you want to be a little badass and go run out in the street and then leave home and never come back. That's, you know, and I have told my son that, but he still came back home. It's not about being emasculate. It's this tough love, and we have lost sight of tough love and real love. So everything hurts our feelings now. Can't have a real relationship. Some people, that's what it is. They feel like they can't open up and talk to a woman because she doesn't understand, and she's worried about money, and she wants, you know, to look nice and show off in front of her friends and go out and dinner and blah 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 blah, right? So I get it. There's this disconnect. But then that's why we gotta be the melting pot here. We gotta link back up. And so you can have this conversation with us. So we can sit on platforms and panels and say, you know what, Foxy, like Ivan, we've had conversations on panels, and Ivan and I, for the most part, and Raz Girl, we kind of agree on most of the topics that are being said. It's this respect. Again, these are all fine etiquettes that we're missing sight of. We're not being respectful to one another. We're not giving somebody space, right? It's a lot of stuff that is in between all this that we're so worried about a mate. Like, damn it, you can't even love yourself first. Where's that card? You can't love yourself first. But you're worried about being in love with... No. Get in tune with yourself. Get in tune with yourself first. so that you can know what it's like and what you like and what you don't want nobody to, you know what I'm saying? You got to know who you are first before you can get to know somebody else. That's the bottom line to it. It's the bottom line. And have these places where we can talk and have conversations to, not air out our dirty laundry, but now I understand if this is a 15-year-old, if this man left when he was 15, clearly he had issues with his mother. If I got pregnant at 15, clearly I had issues with my parents, right? There's some disconnect down the line. It's not that this 15-year-old going out here trying to get pregnant. Now she might, because she might be trying to run away from home, but I didn't run. I got kicked out. I didn't run away from home. But when we have these kind of conversations and dialogues amongst each other, now we can get a better view of our male counterparts and vice versa. They can understand, oh, she had to work at an early age. This is why, she wasn't able to have children later on in life, not until later on in life. You know what I mean? Like there's this understanding of why this person, when we can sit on panels and like I can have an open panel on Monday. I've been on open panels yesterday where we're talking and somebody was making jokes like, oh, I didn't know this was story time. We need to get our stories told so that we can understand where we're coming from. You don't have to tell your whole full story, but enough to be like, okay, I get now how Brother Rich moves into to some degree. Like I get what he's saying because he's opened up and said certain things. Or with like Lotus or Raspberry. Like we've sat on panels and discussed ourselves and Lady Fresh. Like we sat there and said certain things that it's like, okay, now I get why she's a hustler. Or I get why, he makes these kind of moves because he doesn't trust, women or whatever the case may be, right? I have a better understanding now. So when the next time I approach this person, I can talk to them differently. There's this a little more intimate, quiet understanding between us. And there's this agree to disagree and it's all good and that's that. Now, if they're just a total piece of crap, then that's it. I don't really want to be friends. I don't care how hard your story was. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Keep it moving now. But, when I come into somebody else's panel and I've been on their panel and I hear what some background story, then I can get it. It's again being accountable and being real. People like to hear that. They honestly really rather hear that. They love this garbage and this fakeness because it looks real. They don't know what a real authentic conversation looks like with 3 women or 2 women and 4 men on a panel and not going off on each other. They don't know what that looks like. That's what we need to be showing them. And not only just showing them that on a panel, but educating them. Because now we grab them, we've got their attention, we have an audience. Now we have somebody bringing some health science. Now we got somebody bringing in chakra work. Now we got somebody who could talk about spirituality. Now we got somebody who could talk about legalese, right? And bring this all, it's a gumbo. We can all sit and talk about how this is going to affect us and how we can make these changes. Because people are looking to see the drama. People are looking to be calling somebody all kinds of ratchet names. They're living for that now. But when they see panels like, the fresh perspective and the reasoning, Mindful Monday, and they're women, and then they have men come on the panel, what they say, honey, please. Baby, please. That's what a healthy relationship looks like. Or those same women can go on an Ivan G's page or go to a Brother Pinero's Surviving Minds, right, in UK. We can go on Real Talk with JBJ. We can go into those type of rooms and channels because we're not going off and bashing one another. There's this respect, there's this mutual understanding, whether we agree or not. It's this quiet understanding of, I get where they're coming from, love it or like it, don't matter. I'm just here to listen and give my input and keep it pushing and possibly learn because I'm listening to what somebody's saying. That's what I do with you guys. And then I remember, Rich Mo's a Scorpio, Lotus is a Scorpio, right? Because we've been having these dialogues and we're talking to each other. Big Cat's a Leo, Rise is a Taurus, Lady Fresh is a Capricorn, Fresh Breeze is a Pisces, right? Because we have a dialogue, we have a conversation. It's not, even if we go back and forth with each other, talking smack and having fun about it, there's this respect at the end of the day. So when we start changing the narrative and we shift things up, it's going to start looking a lot better. Then we can meld this gap that's missing, because it's a gap that's getting bigger and bigger by the minute. And if we're not wise enough and mindful enough, we're gonna lose it. And then we're gonna have the next generation coming through, slipping through there, and they're gonna just keep falling for whatever, allowing whatever. And if y'all know, like I know, some of y'all know, read the headlines and read the dark headlines behind it. They want to be pushing out more nefarious stuff. I mean, dastardly, nasty stuff. So if we do not connect with our male folk, women, and men, we don't connect with our women folk, and I'm not talking on a sexual relationship. I'm just talking about having conversations. So we're aware of the programming and we can teach one, reach one, and we can talk to our kids as well. Because you better believe when I'm putting on Black Magic, my kids have been in the room while they've listened to a Red Pill and a Vicky Dillard. Some people don't like Vicky Dillard. But I like her. And my kids have come into the room where they've heard me watching a Professor Griff or a brother Truth, not Brother Truth, brother Jason from the Black Business. My kids have heard me watching that stuff. That's what I watch almost every day. If I'm not watching that, I'm watching like my old other movies or whatever to take my mind away from that. Because that's what I'm on. I'm on that time, and my kids hear that. Because that's pretty much what I'm watching all the time. That's my news. YouTube and checking into other people's platforms and panels. That's how I got on last night's panel, because I just happened to be scrolling, saw him go JBJ go live. And next thing I know, I was on the panel for like 5 hours, or 4 hours rather. So you just never know what doors you're unlocking and what avenues you're going down when you have these type of group conversations with other people, and they're intelligent and no one's yelling at each other. You know what I'm saying? There's this, again, quiet respect for each other. Somebody's teaching us, or going on a Brother Sabir where Brother Zay, right, there he goes, my Brother Zay, going on a Sabir Bay, channel. I've even been on his platform, and I've asked him questions in regards to relationships and, getting, the health mechanisms behind it. So listen, I'm out there like that. I'm going into those kind of arenas where I'm talking and I'm asking these men questions, and I'm having a Brother Karim, outspoken with Brother Karim and Doggy Diamonds. I've been on that platform. I just did a live 2 days ago with Brother Blizz on his IG. So, that's where I'm at, because we need to have more of us like that, talking to our men, our brothers, and figuring out, well, okay, so if this didn't work, what do we do here? Love Vicky. Talk Black to me. I think she said that she got that from Dr. Khalid Muhammad, but I also heard Red Pill saying that too. Talk Black to me. She's a dynamite. When I heard her come out, and then I heard her story, and she was in the Fed, the Feds penitentiary, and she's been doing this life of activism / healing. I was like, oh, she's a different breed, and I like that. Some people say, they make fun of her and they go on and they talk, but that's us, right? We're always making fun of somebody. Oh, your thing is trash and this person's is better, and go here, because we always do that. She is crazy rich. She's one crazy gypsy, but I'm a crazy gypsy too. That's why I like her. As far as I know, she hasn't scammed anybody. But I'm a crazy gypsy too. That's why I get her. And she's a Capricorn. So she's the father sign. I'm the mother sign. I'm Cancer. I get it. I get where she's come from. And her passion is like how I see me in her, except she's just a little darker than me. But her passion is she gives me fire in my belly. I'm telling you. Brother Karim does that to me too. And Red Pill. I get that fire. Sabir Bey too. I'll get that fire and I'll have to come on and say some stuff because they just ignite me. And that's what we should be feeling from our brothers and our sisters. We should be feeling that one of us has motivated the other one to either create a platform or go on somebody's platform and speak their mind, speak their piece, right? Because they don't know who's listening and who they're going to be reaching. I've gotten people on here now that just like that really have just started tuning in because of me doing like a Mindful Monday and speaking, or me actually going on other platforms rather. And when they're like, she's a tarot reader, like that throws them completely off. And then when they come here and then they hear it all, it's like, oh, snap. Like we were not expecting this at all. How many times we've seen it in the comments? Like, oh, okay, Foxy, like this is what you're about. Well, I didn't know that. I'm gonna subscribe. Because I kind of been like this. I just get more. Now, what is this? How to set up? I don't know what this is, but we're not doing this right now, Melon. Some little alert popped up, but she's on another level. Oh, but so am I. That's what I'm saying, Rich. Like, you see me, you see her. She's a sister for real. Matter of fact, I got this key that I'm wearing. I got it from her when she was doing the spiritual ancestors. So now you might be like, now I gotta look at Sister Foxy a little differently. Now my big sister just says she likes the gypsy. But what I'm saying is that there's certain things that I get from each person that I watch that I understand. Everything that Sabir Bey says, not everything, but some of the stuff that he'll say, I'm like, that's the Gemini in him. Because he'll come out and he'll just say, he's like the Mr. Know-it-all, but he knows it all. So it's like, who can challenge somebody that knows? He reads, he's well aware of legal information, but sometimes it may not be resonating with me. But then that's what it is. I'm not going to be like, I just won't tune in. And same thing with other people. Like, you got to take everybody with like a grain of salt, you check in. Some people, you check in with them all the time. Others, it's like, all right, I'll catch you next week. Sometimes there's a conflict of, not a conflict of interest, but like Urban X comes on Wednesdays, and I think Brother Rich comes on, Black Magic comes on right before them. And sometimes it goes into Urban X. So sometimes I'm missing somebody because I'm watching somebody else. So thank you, Rich. But if we go into those type of places, they're the least assuming, they're the least expected, right? Because Brother Rich was like, what were you doing on Real Black TV? And I was like, you saw me there? He was like, you'd be surprised where you find people watching you. And I'm just like, oh man, got him. And I was like, okay, so that's one of the another places that shows like old footage of like the 70s and documentaries of different cities and urban cities, or he'll play music on there and stuff. And I went on there, and it happened to be he was on with the UK brother, and they were asking whose policies or who's the most racist. Was it the UK, England, or was it America? And I was just like, are we really doing this? And so being on there with them has me going to set up a time frame with his name is Jason. So brother Jason, I'm going to have a time to get on his panel as well. We're just working out because our time frames are different. But yeah, well, you go on these different platforms, you don't know who's going to want you to come on, who's going to listen to you. And it's great because then we all are getting a voice. We're all going to be heard one way or another. And if you have something, a view or some teachings, right? You're letting the panel know. Now I'm learning. I'm writing down stuff. You know how many times Brother Sabir Bey has said something and I'm like, what was the name of the book again? I got papers, sheets of books and stuff written down of names of books that I need to get. Because I'm learning every time. And when I do go on the other platforms, I'm listening and I'm learning as well. And if I can talk, that's even better because now my voice is being heard. And men can have a different perspective because they're getting the most of, women are like this and acting up and all this, that, and the other. And then, if I come in or a Raz girl has come in and we said our piece, they're like, whoa, wow, really? Oh, okay. Then it sounds, then there is hope out there, So the only thing that I don't have an issue with, and some of the guys were saying this, is that they were kind of repeating what Samuel said, and he was talking about, if you can avoid dating a woman who has kids or has a kid. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. And, the guys were on the panel like, yeah, you should. And me and another woman were on there, and we had kids. We were teenagers, and we also then got married to somebody else that took our kids as their own. And I'm a product of that. So how dare another man or somebody else say, you shouldn't go. I mean, yeah, granted, that might be a little bit more than you could chew, especially if she has, 2 or 3, 4 children. That might be much, but who's going to do the job? Oh, I'm not going to take another man's headache on. Or I'm not going to take. So kids are the headaches? I don't agree with that, and maybe you guys do, and and I mean the men, but I'm just gonna say, somebody was like, "Oh, that's a thankless job. Don't do it." And I'm like, thankless job? That's the best thing a man can do, is step in and be a father figure or a father to a child or children. What if the father was killed, or what if he went to jail? There's like, oh, well, the mother, she shouldn't get married again, or she should stay single. And yeah, okay, if you're reading the Bible, maybe so. But that's her prerogative. But for me to tell another man, they're like, well, what would you tell your son? I don't want my son to have any kids, period. That's what I'm telling him. But I can't be a hypocrite and tell him not to when his father did it with my daughter. You see what I'm saying? Like, the world is full of hypocrites. Like, we're gonna sit here, you can't stand the heat, but you're in it getting dirty. You're doing stuff. It's okay for you to sleep around with the kid's mother, but you won't commit to her. Shame on you. So that's what I'm saying. And when we have these kind of conversations on these platforms, then we can get our word across. Everybody can hear each other out. It's not going to just sound one-sided, and you're listening to somebody propped up on the chair, And it's like these weird kind of conversations. You're having some desperate people calling up. If we have platforms where we have a Mindful Monday, or we go into the reasoning or the fresh perspective, and we're sitting down and we're talking amongst each other, dollars to donuts, when we end the 5-hour conversation, we're going to walk away with somebody's going to be on your mind like, wow, okay, I get what they're meaning now. Or I really still don't like what they said. But you may come back on the following week, and then see and, outweigh other things. Like, you're not going to be totally judgy is what I'm saying. You're going to come back and give it a chance maybe. Because maybe it went off too sideways and you're like, I'm never going to come back. I've done that and not come back on platforms and not even gone into their channel because I was like, I can't take you right now. And then come back and hear what they have to say. And then they're not missing any beats. They're still talking, and giving the knowledge. But, if we have more people on the panel that are not for show, trust me, we're going to have a receptive audience. And the message, this is where that grassroots starts to kick in. Now we're talking to one another. Now we're going to get referrals. Oh, check out the reasoning. She's got, this is what's going on tonight. Or if you need a reading, go over to Foxy Moon. It's that networking and that stuff that we've been doing all along, but not on a grander scale. We can't do those things anymore. It's not working. The days of that one messiah, that one leader, no, we're all going to have to step up. And some of us are going to be a little more stronger in other departments than others, but that's fine. That's what makes the machine work. Exactly, Lotus. That's how we strengthen the community. Because we may not be able to do it on foot. And a lot more of us are on social media and on the computers than we are outside, really outside and networking and getting in with the community. So it's all like virtual and then referrals. And then you can probably do a live action, where you're like actually going to meet somebody and do that. That's how I met one of the tarot readers. We had a meet and greet and he was like, I'm going to be down in the village. I went down there and it was like 20 people. He was like, New York, you guys were the most that since he was doing his little touring out that, but we were like testing each other and, like this was his first time. And it was like really like most of us' first time out and in an outside setting with tarot cards. Like it was a real experience for me and for the reader. And, eventually, like we can then meet each other once we kind of step off of social media here and we've kind of established something. We might be able to do something in the community sense where, we're bringing more to the table. But right now, this is just as good as it gets. And if, we come on the panel and we talk to each other, it's really just here to get a better understanding and to teach each other is really what it is at the end of the day. Very good, Lotus. Yeah, it's a work in progress, and it's not going to be right away. We're not going to, everything is a work in progress, and it takes time. It takes steps, especially if you want to do it right. It's going to take time. If you're just trying to force something out there, it'll show. And I still have to tweak some of my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm far from perfect. And I'm not that far removed from you guys where, my stuff is not all put together, but that's the beauty of it. So you're not all put together. I'm not all put together, but when we come together, we fit some pieces to make it work. And we leave out of there either with joy and energy, or we're holding on to old constrictions and limitations, right? So, guys, I'm gonna go, and again, anybody wants a personal reading, they can reach, go into the pin or the description, and link in with me for a personal reading. The website is www.foxymoon.spiritualalchemist.com, and you guys can reach me in there. It is hot, for a personal reading. And if there's any issues, please email me in the website, or also my IG is Foxy Moon. Lotus, you could drop that information for me, hun. It's Foxy Moon underscore spiritual alchemist. So that's on my IG. You guys can go in there. If I don't answer you right away, it's only because I closed that IG because I have a personal and a private, and for some reason it doesn't give me notifications when I do get a message. So if it's like a day, just try to reach me either way. Either leave a message in the IG, or leave a message on my website that you are interested in getting a reading, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. It is a one-man team, so I try to move as quickly as possible. What else? And that's it. Basically, we're going to try to go to a Mindful Monday. Oh, wait, I may not be able to do a Mindful Monday next week. It probably will be well, I'll keep you posted. It might be a Tuesday instead of a Mindful Monday. It might be a Mindful Tuesday or something like that. Well, I got parent teacher conferences. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. But again, anybody wants personal readings, yes. Thank you. So Lotus has my information up. And let me put in the IG as well. Also, don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed already, you can do so, please. And thank you. Boxing Spiritual. And if you're feeling inclined for a little donation, that I don't know if my information is up there, but you can go into the description there as well. All right, so that's my IG. I put it into the chat. Again, if anybody has any messages or they're interested in getting a reading, they can go leave a message on the IG or in the website, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I want to thank my moderator extraordinaire, my Lotus Bomb, for always being here and always being diligent. And I can't thank you enough, but diligent and always on time, the best that she can be. And everybody else that came through, I salute to you all. Appreciate you very much. And I will catch you on the flip side.